you, and I had Paul with me, and he couldn't even carry.
Well, welcome to the Bureau of Fairly Acceptable Content podcast.
Yes, the changing names.
Well, James can be once. Anyway, well, it's me again. Well, second time after the name.
What's
change.
your name again? Sorry,
Pauli. I'm the bearer of the curse. With me is Ollie, the demon slayer, and also with me is Jared, the good hunter. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Let's give away the theme.
Sorry. Just give away all Jared out. What a fail of a person you are.
There are some people that are thinking, wow, that's really weird and not getting it, so I just fed them in.
Alright.
Slight hint for them.
So what's on the agenda today?
Well, do we have anything you want to talk about?
Nine.
Sorry,
just get that out of the way, guys.
Anything I want to talk about? There's a couple of new games out there I'd like to talk about.
Sure.
Obviously the big one, for me at least, Dragon Ball Z Fighter Z.
Fighter Z, yeah.
Fighter Z. Because you're so used to saying Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah,
adding on Fighter
it's a way to get around all the names. So you have the Fighter, and then Z.
So I have not played this game yet.
No, I've seen much. I've only seen stuff about it.
Yeah, it looks like it potentially could be the Dragon Ball Z game.
Probably because all the art and animation is pretty much down to the nails.
It looks spot on.
Yeah, spot on.
Yeah. Nailed
the anime, yeah.
But the fighting style, like the fighting game itself as well, looks absolutely amazing.
It's pretty much because Arc System. I've played some Arc System games before, which is Guilty Gear and what's the other one? Blaze Blue, and those were quite similarly, but then they added a few systems in this in Dragon Ball where you have 3 fighters instead of just the one, like the other games that you do.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So it's 3 fighters.
Yeah, you got 3 per team per fight.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
But because the other 2 are usually assists.
Alright. A mate of mine actually, I think I mentioned him in the last podcast, actually, the game journalist, he got to go to the launch event for it.
Of course.
And did I get an invite?
Nope.
Did I fuck? No.
Could have had an insider in there.
I had an insider in there, and he didn't even get me like a little bit of like cheap tattly with like no goodie bag. Nothing.
Yeah.
And then the next night, which leads on to nicely onto the he was at the Monster Hunter launch event. And did I see an invite for that? Did I fuck? And no little goodie bag.
Alright.
I'm starting to get real pissed at this. I'm going to call him a friend, but I'm putting fucking air quotes on it.
Sure.
Yeah, so and that leads into Monster Hunter. And awesome game. You guys actually have it on the desk there.
We actually have it here in the household. Matt, who unfortunately isn't with us today, we killed him off at some point. Threw him down a well.
It was that public feedback, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had the public feedback. We got rid of him as you liked, but Matt actually got Monster Hunter, pre-ordered it. He came back from a little trip out to Sweden he's been on, and so far from what I've seen, he's loved it, and I've enjoyed watching the game. It looks fantastic. The graphics of it are
He didn't love it enough to play the beta, because I got in there in the PS4 betas.
That's because he's a purist. He likes to play the game from the beginning to the end, not start to stop as a beta as how it generally works.
The beta is there for you to find out what it's like, and therefore if it's worth buying.
For developers to get cheap playtesting.
Yeah, that too. But also like marketing and whatnot. But
but Matt didn't want to. He wanted to do it all straight from flat because he's played every single Monster Hunter since there's ever been, as he likes to tell me regularly. He's played it from the beginning. He's played it from first one to the most recent now. So yeah, he chosen his class. He is a big old sword swinger, and he's loving the game, and he's tearing up the whole world as he goes.
Big old sword swing.
Yeah.
So I've never actually played it. I've seen it because it's hard to
miss it.
If you're interested in Japanese stuff, it's hard to miss this.
Yeah.
But what is it actually like? How do you do?
I probably should explain since I actually played
it. For it
So you're a guy and you pick your weapon. There's several weapons you can choose from. Some of them are pretty unique, but there's something unique about each of them. And you go out and hunt monsters, and by hunting monsters, you get you salvage stuff from them, and therefore make gear, which makes it easier to hunt the bigger stuff.
Okay, so is there an overarching story to it? Or?
Yeah, I believe there is.
This one appears to have one. Not sure quite how it's going to work. I've only seen the little bits that I've been around in the room, but it does look like it's got something toward a big scary monster that no one really knows
You usually
about.
go to a certain place where, like a certain rank, I think it was called G rank or whatever. All the Monster Hunter, all the
Japanese people, they always put weird alphabets on
Yeah.
their ranks.
But we're gonna get some flack from the Monster Hunter fans if we have any,
I might get some
because
flack
like,
from
what do
Matt.
you don't know what's the
if we
monster?
have any Monster Hunter fans, or just if we have any fans?
Well, we have a, guys, we have a Matt that's going to be getting us flack.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
right.
sure.
So,
This was screwed, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, we are.
Love
When he
that.
comes back, he's going to have a whole field down us.
sure. But anyway, I think the idea is just to hunt the hardest monster there is and get better gear. Pretty much like World of Warcraft, except about the daily quests and high.
The
The high key.
overarching, complete, like, storyline.
Yeah,
Well, as much as there is.
as much as there is one, except for the shit ones.
Yeah, the Lich King, that expansion.
Yeah,
had
yeah.
a hell of a good story.
Yeah, sure.
That was a good one.
But what happened afterwards?
It went downhill
Yeah,
very
exactly.
rapidly, and then brought it back up again for Legion.
Yeah, I came
And
back for
then-
Legion, but
It went downhill a little bit again.
yeah.
No, that was not World of Warcraft's fault though. That was mostly because after 3 months of doing essentially the same quest, you always get bored.
Yeah, the problem is trying to find new content and then somehow balancing the time to get to the top level, and then how you manage that against the raiders and dungeon content.
I did find Cataclysm very interesting, purely because of the fact that they went, hey, all those low-level players that are struggling to get to the top have new content.
Yeah,
And I was like, oh, cool, I can go back
and
level.
also just revamp the whole system,
Yeah.
so you're not on that old system.
Yeah, it's good.
Even though other people really want to go on that vanilla version for some reason.
Yeah. Well, I think it's mostly nostalgia. It's kind of the same way we go back and play Super Mario's for like 20 minutes and then realise that it's not that good anymore.
Yeah, sure.
I think you should just take that back right now. Super Mario is still amazing.
I'm sorry, but Super Mario's is not that good. Super Mario's Brothers 2, I'll give you.
Oh, okay, yeah,
That game was
okay.
gold.
That was better than the Super Mario's, yeah, but you still got to say that when you play it, you can't just stop for 20 minutes. You do it for an hour, you get through a few words, and then you stop.
Oh, okay. Right.
Do you know
You
how
give
they-
it a full
I'll give you
proper
that.
feel.
Do you know?
Yeah, a full proper playthrough.
What's that, bud?
Do you know how they saved on asset space, like memory space for the assets? The clouds are exactly the same shape as the bushes, just different colors.
You're
Fair
kidding.
enough.
No,
Wow.
That's actually quite clever. No
That's
offense, but no one ever would notice that really. We don't notice it until we don't
Well,
really look at the clouds,
you notice it when you actually look at it.
except for someone that likes to really look at details like
Oh, hey, I'm in
colouring.
game design. I have to look at the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Fair enough.
Have to look at the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. When your lecturers tell you about it, then it sticks in your mind. Usually.
Fair.
Fair enough. That's a good point.
So,
No.
did you guys have any games do you want to bring up?
Probably just Rise of the Tomb Kings expansion for Total War.
Oh, that happened, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I took like holiday off work for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it worth it, Jared?
You know what? I played a lot of League. I feel like it's one of those armies that I just don't get. Like, I don't get Chaos.
Sure.
I can't play them.
No.
Don't know what it is. I just can't get them. I can't play Wood Elves in terms of the macro management.
Sure.
I can play them in an army shooting. I know that.
Yeah.
But in terms of their settlements, can't do it. Don't understand it.
Sure.
I get the hell out of vampire counts.
Yeah.
I'll kill anyone in battle and in economics and vampire counts.
Sure.
However, Tomb Kings, don't get. I don't think.
I've been able to get some moderate success on normal difficulty with both Cetra and Khalida. Got 2 books, and that's been fine at the moment. Haven't really suffered major losses, if I can remember. But anyway, with Cetra it was just go wreck the orcs, eliminate them, and after settle Xandri with a level 3 Necrotech. Well, level 3 building settlement size with a Necrotech. And then go just across the continent, wiping out everyone, and making sure somehow you get trade deals, because that way you get more money, because it's very hard to get money with Tomb Kings.
Cool. I lacked the trade deals.
Yeah, you got to look for them every single time.
I kept annoying people. I think.
Yeah, that's probably the problem.
Yeah, well, everyone knows.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, I like in battle though. Me and Justin, we tried.
Justin and I.
Justin and I. Controls.
Harley are better Englishmen in this country.
Where Justin and I tried a couple of player battles,
Sure.
and I swear to God that there were a couple of instances where we either won where we should not have won.
Sure.
Because they destroyed our lines. That Purple Sun Azarius
Yeah.
came down and destroyed 2 whole units before it then went and like did half health to another one.
Yeah.
And they came up and they ruined our lines and they were all over us, and then suddenly the battle turned and we won, and me and Justin were just stood there with these really defeated armies just standing around with these crumbling skeletons, just like, how did we do this? And then there were instances where we were destroying them and suddenly we lost, and I can't figure out what was the turning point in either of those games.
Speaking of Justin,
Speaking of Justin,
he's not here.
he is not here, no.
Well, he has just messaged me saying he has a job, so I presume he's working at the moment.
No, it's finished work by now.
Should have done, but I think there was discussion about somebody.
Oh, she is not to work.
Oh yeah, he
He
did
might
mention
not have
that.
turned out tomorrow, yeah. Well, this is not really something to be put into podcast, but
Well, we were using
Anyway, right to us had
Yes.
actually we got a new email as well, which is the Bureau of Very Acceptable Content at gmail.com.
That is a long email.
Well, that way we secure it, unless it's shorter.
Bureau of
No, and actually, it's all that except the podcast at gmail.com.
so it's the Bureau of Barely Acceptable Content
At gmail.com.
At
at gmail.com.
Actually, no, it's not.
It's not.
So this is the one that actually is our name.
We've checked, right?
Now I'm checking.
We're double checking?
Yeah, now I'm double checking.
Okay.
We're really
So
sure.
the email is BBACP at gmail.com.
Babac podcast
Yes,
at gmail.com.
yes,
Okay.
that's it.
Much-
We'll mention it again in emails.
Okay, awesome.
Just
I'm
write
sure
it
it'll come
down
in handy.
at the bottom of
Sure.
the write it back down at the bottom of the suggestion section, the comment section, whatever we do.
Make it the name of
And
the
then
video.
No, I usually put it as a link at the bottom of the video
Fair enough.
or audio file, whichever one.
Oh,
SoundCloud.
So yeah,
Right,
this
fine,
is so we've only got 3. Like it's the more intimate episode.
Sure.
Yeah.
We've only got 3 people. We can go into depth about stuff
we have the
Possibly.
we have the best 3 people in the group here,
if
honestly.
we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it depends how long you guys want to go. Just because last time it was like, oh, it's in 2 hours. No, it's like okay, hour it is.
Yeah, right.
Now I have to get through the content.
We'll see how it goes. We'll
Yeah.
see how it goes.
But also the Tomb Kings. The most interesting part of that expansion, the
Yeah.
patch they released with it.
Oh yeah.
I really feel that they've buffed the dwarfs to something silly.
I don't know. Dwarves appear to have gone up in price as well.
Only certain
What
units,
units?
and ones I wouldn't normally take anyway.
I think the buff is also there to make you want to take them more.
Ah, yeah, true.
True.
Yeah, kind of.
Because units you don't usually take, because usually, for me, when I played dwarves, I usually take a solid line of core infantry. If I can get the elite stuff, I will take iron breakers and hammers and wreck face, and then usually I'll have quite a strong artillery backup just to kind of deal with things.
Yeah.
I generally, as personally, my personal decision is not to take gyrocopters, even though they are pretty damn strong. I don't really want them because I don't build them in my usual fantasy battle on the tabletop. So why should I take them in a computer game?
Yeah. Actually, speaking of Tomb Kings and actual battles, what I found is that you usually need that just a chaff unit, units like usually it's skeleton warriors, but then you can upgrade it in tomb guard, and those stay slightly better. But what you need is flanking units, which is like necropolis knights or chariots, even though chariots aren't the best thing.
Yeah.
And then sepulchral stalkers.
Sepulchral?
Sepulchral.
Sepulchral.
Stupid name.
I don't know, yeah.
The longest
the
name.
Ones, the snaky ones.
Yeah, the ones that
Big
have
snaky ones.
have a shooting attack.
Yes.
Or you get a Khmer War Sphinx or Hero Titan.
Oh, those sphinxes, they do work.
Yeah, they do.
The Hero Titan, when I got one battle out of it, I remember getting one battle. I have to say the Hero Titan is just a glorified magic caster, to be honest. He doesn't do much. He's a little bit faster than an average skeleton warrior, but I didn't see much point in him. He just casts off spells, just is there. And the only reason I got to play with him was because I was playing the faction at a base right by the Dark Elves, so quite a challenging start. And it did its job. It was throwing out damage, but boy was it a bit lackluster.
I have not tried a Necro Sphinx yet either.
That one, that cause
I have no idea how it works in battle.
Played it in a game.
Yeah.
It really kills lords. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it kind of one-shot Azhag the Slaughterer,
Alright.
and he was on a dragon.
Yeah, no, he's on a wyvern is the correction,
Oh,
but
sorry.
yes.
To be fair,
Well,
he
that
was
sounds
supposed. That
pretty
was how
strange.
they were supposed to function in tabletop. It didn't end up doing that because it's bloody strength 5 and has a heroic killing blow. It's one of the attacks with strength 10, which means that if you whiff that attack, it doesn't do anything to monsters.
And like on the tabletop as we discovered today, you also need to make sure your spellcasters cast their spells.
Well, they don't die after casting the spell.
Yes. Yes, as we found today, me and Pauli had
We'll
a
get
game of
into
Tomb
the
Kings.
weeks a little bit later.
Oh, we'll do that later? Oh,
yeah,
so, okay.
we'll talk about it in a
Just
bit.
because it was on Tomb King's front, and I thought
Yeah.
it was tuning. Yeah, so stay tuned about how Pauli got trashed on tabletop.
Yeah, I don't think I got trashed.
Well, I think I had all my units bar 1 on the table still,
No, you
and
didn't.
you had nothing.
You didn't have any. You lost a couple of units.
Yeah.
That's never a good, like, you lost a couple.
Yeah, and,
When I say a
Pauli-
couple, one of them was that bloody 40-man orc boy mob.
Who actually, no, they're actually 30 man, and they've
Yeah.
recovered, took a charge from chariots, which is to be expected. They actually held
To be
a little
fair,
bit longer than I planned.
they've lost the battle against like what 15, 18 Tomb Guard, and then they ran off.
So we're doing this now, huh?
Yeah, sure.
We're now doing this now, yeah.
Yeah, fine.
But I wasn't the one that cast a spell, blew up my own wizard and half my unit, and then died.
It's not my problem. I rolled 3 6s in the first bloody spell.
That'd
I
be
cast.
lovely usually, but yeah.
And I didn't accidentally
The
roll
one
2
time.
1s
No, and
afterwards.
I love Jared said this is the one time, but there's another game I've been told about where Pauli played Manfred, and Manfred also blew up and died.
No, that's the one against Justin.
Yeah, I've been told about this game, and it sounds like Pauli has an issue with spellcasters.
That's only happened twice in like, I don't know.
Yeah,
100 games.
I've never had it happen to me before. Jared, have you had a game like that before?
Yes. I have blown up several of my own units before. It's
Yeah, but anyone that really matters.
No.
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 Pauli has an issue with large lord spellcasters, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I blew up a Nurgle Harold, but, you know, there's always more where that came from.
Yeah, pretty much.
It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just luck of the dice, really. There's, well, how many? Like not one in, but a quarter of a chance you get the really bad one.
Yeah. But when you discover Pauli's unit of
Oh, a third actually.
tomb guards, who you're thinking, oh look, they've suddenly been weakened, you run at them, get into combat, and suddenly discover the whole unit is also weapon skill 10. For anyone that understands, just to explain, weapon skill 10 means it's pretty much impossible to hit them on anything but a 6 unless you've got a
5.
similar weapon skill.
It's usually a 5.
Usually 5, yeah. But it means they're pretty damn hard. So you walk into a unit with just your normal guys, you suddenly start to regret your decision very quickly.
It
very
would
high
help if my
strength as well.
Harlequin was alive and he had a 6-up regen save.
Yeah, that was a very lucky removal for me.
Or a spell that would have given them 5-up invulnerable save, or ward save, I mean.
Yeah, things that Pauli didn't have, which
Yeah.
was very
This
nice.
is where a good general would adapt to his conditions.
I did, I got my chariots to wipe out several units.
I love it. He just gone from 2 to several, where in actual fact it was just down to 2 again.
It was 3.
2.
Took out the Wolf Riders.
I forgot
Took
about
up
the
the
Wolf Riders.
archers.
But the Wolf Riders are chaff. They were, for me, points cost. I think they cost me 45 points.
Sure.
And that was, how many points was that chariot unit again?
No, like 470 or 570.
Yeah.
I think it was
yeah,
470
yeah.
actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something
they
quite
did take it out.
expensive taking out a 45-point unit.
It was 8 chariots.
And then, what the entertaining thing was, what destroyed the unit then was a flank charge from an Orc Boar chariot. Now, admittedly, he lost a few on the way
To
through.
be
his
fair, they're
battles.
not meant to take charges.
But he took a flank charge from one chariot, which wiped up the whole 4 chariots left, and that is 3 wounds each. So that's quite a few wounds that this 4 chariot just went through.
Ollie,
in
you're
one
playing
go.
this up for some reason, and I don't get why.
I'm enjoying just reminding you.
It's the first
Skelly's
game
at
in
a
a while
level.
that he's won. Just let him have it.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. How
Oh.
was that risk game going for you? Did you do alright in that?
That this game was for fun.
I will do what I always
And
do.
I think you
attack
lost
him.
there. Yeah, this is Pauli's tactics there.
To be fair, there was at one point where I could have just, like, what's the term you used?
Crippled Jareds
No.
multiple times.
No, it was
Still
the...
didn't do it.
No.
Multiple times.
No, it was the...
Attacked me instead.
No. It was the, like, consolidated my forces, because I just went right after after
yeah.
things, but I didn't rest at all in any of
No,
my
you,
turns.
you and Justin just went absolutely balls to the wall on it, and I couldn't understand because you were just like, no, we'll take 2 versus 1 every single like territory every time, and it's just like, no, you're just weakening yourself. Just stop.
Usually
just
was
stop
free.
for 1 turn.
It usually was 3 against 3, but still the same
but
results usually.
the thing was,
It's just
also,
a
I
terrible
warned
matchup.
both
You
of
always
them.
want to have at least 1 more. Like,
There's also an interesting thing that I seem to roll stupidly high with my dice in Risk. I don't know why. And I told them all not to bother invading me, and yet you still did, and you lost more armies to my single unit armies than anybody else, I think.
To
in
be
that
fair,
game.
dice rolls are just chance. Doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean
I-
even though you do get you did get high rolls in that game. Doesn't mean you will always get those high rolls in that game. And I know that's a gambler's fallacy, but anyway.
Yeah, but the gambler's fallacy seems to be that when I roll in Risk, I actually get the numbers I want for once.
Which shouldn't happen all the time. But
This
some
should
of the
work.
He's
time.
actually
More
very
often.
confident about this. He still lost.
I still
Sure.
lost, yeah. But I did make all armies bleed that walked into my territory.
Except me.
You bled lots.
Oh, I ruffle stopped.
Yeah, you ruffle stopped after having to basically stagnate and wait on a standoff against Shannon, and then you basically went through. You ended up finally invading me with about, I think it's about 10 armies to get to my 3,
Yeah.
and it took you a little while to get through them, and then you finally did. You started walking through because I didn't have anything. I had everything on the front line, and it took you. You got down to about 6 armies left from your 10, and then you started to walk through.
Yeah.
That's a good few armies I took out.
Yeah.
I do realize I could have
I
attacked
made you
Pike
bleed a
several
little bit.
times, but I just didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame.
No.
Just to fluffer it, we were playing on the Game of Thrones edition, so that's why he said Pike and not like Britain.
No.
Yeah. And Jared's lucky claim of that 2 province.
That
game
one
army.
territory, I was just looking at it, I was just like, ooh, he could assault me from there for like 6 turns, and I couldn't do anything about it, and you never did anything with it. I was just like, woo!
And when I went, you could go and do this, and no one listened. And I was like, oh god, what am I doing?
Yeah,
in
but
this
what does Ollie know?
game? What is Ollie now? No, Ollie's
only
not the
play-
one that actually.
He's only played this game several times more than I have, which is the first time.
Absolutely crippled me, dude. I'd have been done.
Yeah, jeez.
And then you also had piling help onto Shannon as well, so
Yeah.
it's just like, okay, well, we're in a Cold War now, so I can't assault that front, great.
Yeah. No, I still invaded Shannon. I just tried to give her another hand because she'd never played it before and she had no idea what she was doing.
She just looked very lost. That other game we played though, that was...
Oh yeah, Kingdom Death
Kingdom
Monster.
Death
Yeah.
Monster. That was a good game.
That is a big game,
Yeah.
but it's definitely what I'd love to invest a weekend into.
Yeah, sure. I would like to
Yeah, we'd love to do that, yeah.
at some point.
Just trying to rage everyone now.
now.
Just
Yeah.
just igniting
No,
whatever.
Like what I found out, like bringing it down and actually like putting all the pieces together was that you have to kind of organize where the cards are. Otherwise, you spend a whole bunch of time trying to organize the bloody thing.
Well, yes, the
Yeah.
Generally, that's
you
the
set
sense
up
of the
bank
game.
Monopoly before you start playing.
Yeah, but Monopoly only has like a few cards. This has like hundreds of them. Because you have equipment cards, you have event cards, you have status cards, you have terrain cards, you have all the AI decks for the different monsters and Nemesis.
So this is a Kickstarter game, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so just let everyone know what
Yeah,
we're
sure,
talking about
yeah.
would be a good one.
Maybe we should explain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like I didn't pay for the Kickstarter. So what do they advertise it at? Like,
Let me
It's-
bring up the Kickstarter page right now.
it's kind of a game where you play
It's a survival
a
game.
basic character. Like,
It's very much a very hardcore survival game in a sense.
Well, like
with
an
a
RPG,
fantasy element,
yeah.
with a fantasy RPG element involved. Your
So how-
survival is not guaranteed,
Yeah.
as we found with Jared dying, unfortunately.
The first-
Chick Kwanzaa died.
Yeah.
Horribly, yeah.
Yeah.
So how they described on their Kickstarter page is a cooperative nightmare horror game experience. Hunt intelligent monsters and develop your settlement through a self-running campaign.
It is definitely a campaign game.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
a campaign game.
And
Yeah.
it is definitely hardcore.
Yeah.
If you want to do a slight, I suppose almost an easier version of D&D, this is a really good version to do.
Yeah, it's definitely
it's a
a quicker version.
quicker
of
version
D&D.
of
Like,
D&D.
there's a lot less. I have to build my own world.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So
It's
Also,
all-
like all your character building is up to chance and what you pick usually, which
Yes.
is only at certain points rather than having to think of it long strategy wise.
yeah, so
Yeah.
what you do is you control a literal basic
Character, yeah.
and you start in a scenario, don't you?
Yeah.
So do you have to start with the white line?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so you have to start with the white line, and then you worked with up to 4 people.
Yeah.
Does the difficulty change depending on how many people are
No,
in the game?
it's always the same.
No, so you could be one person trying to 2 people.
Yeah, and you could control 2 each.
Oh, okay. So you always have 4 players.
Yeah, you always have to have 4
Okay,
survivors.
That's fine. Because I was going to say, 2 people trying to take that line would suffer.
Yeah, because it gets to bloody toughness 8 in the second phase, in the second fight.
Oh right, wow.
In the first fight, it's toughness 6. So.
So yeah, so you, I don't know how to describe, like it's a grid formation.
Yeah, it's a grid board.
Grid board, and you can do, was it as many actions as you like?
You
Or
can move and do an action.
move and do 1 action. So
Yeah.
you move up to 5, do an action, and you have to take down this lion that can just scream you to death.
Well, yeah, because it screams and that does an intimidation attack, and then
Drives you insane.
Yeah, pretty much.
You start to go insane in the game.
And depending on what you do in the matchup, say you do kill the lion,
Sure.
the gear you get depends on what you did to it, right?
Well, what you did to it, and also what you draw from the resource decks.
Ah, okay.
And it's pretty graphic, some of the stuff you can take from it.
Yeah.
Like, you can take its testicles, you can rip its mane off.
I did that with a stone. I found that very weird. I threw a stone and ripped the mane off. Like that's a hell of a
It
shot.
sheared it off.
Sheared off the mane.
For some reason, it went around.
It did several arcs.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was quite an intense game, actually, because it got to the point where you're trying to survive and trying not to completely dick over the other people in your team.
Yeah.
Except you will do so by accident. Whether that's by me stabbing it in the arse and having it charge and pull powerfully along with it as it goes past,
Yeah.
or whether that's somebody just doing a wound that then fails and causes an event to happen that will do something horrible.
Probably should
to
explain
us.
the boss, like how the boss works a little bit better. The boss has a deck of cards which have all the attacks that it does in the fight. It also has hit location deck where you hit it randomly, but you draw from that every single time you hit it, and then you wound it, and then it has certain effects that may happen or may not happen depending on what happens and how
Yeah,
what the
if you
card
crit
description
it.
is. Yeah.
Like if you crit it can enrage, can't it? And then that's what it does, bad things.
Well, yeah. Or well, actually, usually crits are the best thing to happen to you.
Oh, okay. So if you just smack it a little bit but don't wound it, then
That goes bad usually.
Then it gets angry. Yeah.
Usually there is like a thing that is like a reaction if it's failed to wound, and it does the thing where it describes. If it's not failed, it doesn't do it.
At which point one of them was to grab you by the head and
Yeah.
drag you along for a couple of spaces.
Yeah.
You got a head injury. Off
Yeah.
That or something, yeah.
Lost an eye.
Lost an eye.
Yeah.
So he was like at -1 accuracy. Then.
Yeah, after that, yeah.
So and that carries with your character throughout the entire campaign, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, like a magically regrow an eye. But
Well, that could actually happen. You can somehow get more accuracy depending on the events.
Or maybe your death position gets better and you just
But yeah, so then you
doing
take,
stuff.
once you do, if you do kill
Yeah.
a lion, and none of you die, or all of you die, you go take all the stuff back to the settlement, and you can upgrade your settlement,
Yeah.
and then go out on more hunts,
Yeah.
and do other things, and there's a whole campaign about it,
Yeah.
which is why it's definitely a weekend game,
Sure.
but it's also a good one to check out.
Yeah. But like because of its nature of being only like those hunts, it means that you can always stop it at any point and pick it back up again.
Yeah,
Just-
they usually like that.
Just as a point of honesty, though, for any user that does want to consider picking up this game, be prepared to spend a lot.
Yeah.
It
It's
is-
about 400 at the moment on the $400 I think.
I'm sorry, what?
I got it for a quarter less because I pre-ordered it.
What did we say about pre-orders, Pauli?
That we do it if it's useful. Hey, $100 off the price. Hey, what am I not gonna take
And
it?
honestly, you
Also, it
want
was very
clears
fast
the game.
shipping.
And you think about it, the quantity and the amount of stuff, because it comes in a fucking massive
I was
box.
really surprised how heavy it was when I got it.
Comes in a
It's just-
fucking massive
It's hilarious.
And the models are beautiful.
Yeah.
And the models are beautiful. Yeah.
Made in China though.
You get you get a
Hard
lot
plastic.
for your money. You get more than you would get for a lot of game systems and things
Yeah.
for your money.
Which is why it's probably so popular, and also why because the game's so good anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Well, yeah, and probably they've had a few like people on YouTube or whatever showcasing the game, and probably that's gotten some interest.
Oh, it'd definitely be a good one to put on YouTube. I can see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to give you an idea of how much money it's made $12,400,000.
12 million.
Yeah.
When did it come out?
I want to say 2015 or 2016.
So in 2 years, it's made 12 million.
Yeah.
As a, what is, you can still call it an underground board game.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane.
To be fair,
Exactly,
Kickstarter board games do really well, because for some reason board games are going up
It's
in
'cause board games are
in
down,
It's
consumption.
because board games are something people really enjoy, but no one really wants to invest.
Well, they haven't.
Except when they go to
Yeah.
Kickstarter and they find something that they can really invest in personally
To
too.
be fair, like
you
you.
down the road to Proud Lime.
Yeah.
I just spent loads in that store.
To be
Oh, you
fair,
got some more stuff over you, isn't it?
yeah, board games are really easy to develop anyway. It's like you get the base stuff, like you get the concept down, and then it's done, and then you just get the manufacturer to print more of them.
I'm so glad you've never picked up that World War II Panzer game or something, which apparently takes about a whole year to complete. It was designed in the 1960s. There's a game I remember. I can't remember.
That's too old.
But it was designed in something like the 1960s, and it got so out of hand that the original people that are paying for it said they don't want to do it anymore. But what it is a game which is designed around North Africa. Basically, you are Rommel or Montgomery, and basically the number of hours just spent trying to do things in the game equate to about a year's worth of game, and you don't stop. You play the game and you just keep going. And very few people have ever claimed to have completed it just because of the difficulty of the game.
That's insane.
I wish I got the expansions for the Kingdom Death Monster.
Apparently, he doesn't get. We've moved on to another conversation.
Another K.
Well, I want the Flower Knight and the Lion Knight and the Dung Beetle Knight expansions. They're really nice.
That's a lot of nights.
Yeah, because those are usually good ones.
So what, they just extra monsters, or they add...
They're extra monsters or nemesis. Like the Flower Knight opens up a different area to explore.
Oh, that's cool.
But it happens the same way the Hunt does. It just has new things.
Yeah.
And new mechanics and whatnot.
But I actually I love myself a board game, and I was playing a classic last night over at Jake and Tori's.
Yeah.
We played two actually. So I got them. Basically, they were Christmas presents. I got them one of them, and Bieber got them another one.
Yeah.
And we were playing Suro, which is called the Game of the Path.
Okay.
And really quick, really easy. I think it was like £30.
Okay.
But basically, you have this little marker and a grid style board, and in each of the kind of like a ring around, there's like two little beige markers, and you can either start your marker on one or the other. And so each square has two of these markers, kind of like on the outside of the board. And place your thing down, and then you've got three tiles. And on these tiles are paths that connect to the markers, but they're all in different shapes and styles, and like crisscrossing paths and all that. And you have to put these tiles down and move your marker at whatever starting point to whatever line you finish at, and then move your marker across. And there are three other people doing this, or like up to 8 people doing this at a time. And as you can imagine, when you start getting into the game, the paths get more and more crazy, and you have to take really weird routes. So because it's kind of like Tron, you don't want to end your path.
Yeah.
Because if you do, you die. If you go into someone else, you die. If you run out of tiles, I think you die as well, which is easier to do in 8-man games, not 3, like we played. But by the end of the game, when there's like 2 or 3 tile spaces left, and you are stuck with this one thing that you could put one way, and maybe you'll live for another turn, and it's really clever. It's like every game is.
This does sound
different.
quite cool, actually.
I'm sorry, Jared. It's got a 6.7 score on Board Game Geek, and I'm gonna have to turn it down.
6.7.
Yeah.
They are Philistines.
Yeah, Kingdom Death got a 9, so yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not surprised, to be honest.
That's just because there's no expansion packs.
So-
Every price tag on
So
it.
that was called. What game was it called again?
Suro, Game of the Past.
Suro.
Suo, Game of
Yeah.
Path.
So I'll
So
I didn't
TSU.
put enough of an accent.
Yeah,
on
it's-
it.
Yeah.
Suro.
TSURO.
Yeah, it's very
Came in
That sounds pretty good,
2014,
actually, yeah.
2004.
And what was this other game you
good. The
played?
other game was a classic that anyone who knows board games should know. A game by Matt Leacock called Pandemic.
Ah.
I was gonna say.
Okay, yeah, that's a good
What was I
game.
gonna say? Something stupid. Anyway.
Oh, you can just open your mouth and do that, mate.
Yeah. Yahtzee. That was.
Yeah. Oh god, that's a good game. That's quite a challenge to do.
Pandemic or Yahtzee?
Well, both of them, to be honest. The Yahtzee's always relying on luck, and yeah, you get dicked over by the dice half the time.
I'm sorry, Jared. It's got to say 7.7 on
7.7.
Yeah.
You don't go below an 8, do you?
No.
7.7 on Pandemic, a classic.
Oh, jeez,
fantasy. But no, Pandemic was damn fun, and we lost hard. Like.
Oh yeah. You explain what it is actually about.
Oh, sorry. So yeah, you work as up to 4 characters. Each has their own special skills about combating these outbreaks of disease across the country.
Right.
Across the world, even.
Oh yeah.
And you start in Atlanta, which, as everyone knows, is the home of the CDC, purely because that one Walking Dead episode had the headquarters of the CDC in Atlanta.
And let me guess, disease is always happening in Mongkok in Hong Kong, right?
Hong Kong is a city on the map.
Yeah, but Mongkok's usually where all these things come out from.
No, it doesn't have to start there. But China does have its own, so the world is separated into...
continents. Yes.
The world map, yes. and then there's blue disease, yellow disease, red disease, black disease. And it doesn't, I think I called mine, black plague, yellow fever, scarlet fever, and influenza.
Yeah.
Because, blue, yellow, black, and red is just kind of boring.
Sure.
But I'm sure there's some kind of trade dispute over that or something. But so you have to walk, each person has special skills.
Sure.
I was playing the medic.
Yeah.
When you play the medic, you can just remove all the disease from one city, whereas everyone else can only remove one cube, which represents the disease.
Yeah.
So you get the soldier guy with the flamer to cleanse the place, right?
Essentially, I was going around with the flamer just cleansing the hell out of the cities. And then Tori was the dispatcher, so she can move people, she can move people as her turn. So
what?
If I need to get somewhere very quickly, she can use her turn to move me, kind of thing.
Yeah, so just
to every hot point
to get up and take your hands on your hands and just make you move stuff, right?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Exactly. She actually did that, to be fair.
What do you mean? It's move your game piece around
the board? Move my pawn.
Yeah.
She was moving everyone's pawn. That joke didn't get made at all.
No. The way you pronounced it, I lose something bizarre.
But then I think Jake was the researcher or scientist.
Yeah.
So he could cure diseases easier. So we tried our best. We cured the hell out of the kind of Middle East, Northern Africa peninsula, and the Latin America and South America and kind of East Africa.
It's always like you stereotyping here, just where you.
Weirdly, the game does a little bit, but we cured those two, but then Hong Kong, we cured it but couldn't eliminate the diseases,
right?
Which we didn't realize wasn't actually a win condition. All we had to do was cure all of them. And at the end, we were like, if we did one move different, we could have won, but we didn't. And then, Europe was just a hellhole. It just outbroke everywhere. So when you put these disease cubes down, and when you can't put another one down past 3, because you can only have 3,
sure,
it outbreaks. And what it does is sends one cube to every city that's connected to the other cities.
Yeah.
And if you play your cards completely incorrectly, it can go outbreak, and just scatter across the world, and Europe got messed up, dude. That place is on fire.
For some reason, that kind of reminds me of XCOM, the board game.
It's very similar to XCOM.
Because the only thing is, XCOM uses a bloody, not a bloody, but a phone app to actually play the game.
I don't like it when they force it. There are a couple of games that just kind of...
Well, you actually, in this game you have to use it.
There's a couple I play. One's called Flatline.
Oh, yeah.
And the app is just there to make it easier because you have a 1 minute timer during the game, and it's just like, hey, use our app for the timer then. Don't worry about it, boys.
Yeah. The thing is, because I worked at a board game company for a little bit, for a year, and...
Oh, yeah, just keep that in the download. That's fine, yeah.
Well, yeah. We tried out XCOM actually there, which was why I brought it up. But, trying to make apps for things, it's very, you're using resources to make them, and usually you don't make anything out of them if they're free.
Yeah.
And if you make them paid, not everyone's gonna buy them, because, well, hey, why would I buy this when I can get the board game and have much more fun with it?
Well, a clever one that the Flatline does, I don't know what company does it, but they use it like, hey, here's the timers, here's the like turn procedure
Sure.
kind of thing. But what they do is they go, we're going to combine all of our games into this one app. So you look at the other games and you're just like, hey, if this one's fun, those might be as well. So it's a very subtle advertisement, which is quite clever.
Okay.
Because it doesn't go, hey, look at the other games. It's just like, these are options you can also do on this app.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be fun if you played those too?
So one of the things I also was kind of seeing when we were looking at the apps was that like Hasbro would make an app for like just the whole game, that's a board game, into a digital app, and those would usually boost sales rather than like of the actual board game rather than the digital one, because people would be like, oh, it's fun, but I want to play with other people, and then that would spur them to actually play with other people.
Well,
it's an interesting thing.
there's a game I've been eyeing up for a while, and I decided to have a look at it just now, looking up on the internet. And I can say it's got Paladin's approval because there's an 8.3 rating on it.
I don't know about that.
And it's a game called Scythe, and I've been looking at it for quite a while now. I've been looking at it. It's something I've been planning to make an investment into.
It's ranked 8 on the on their like hotness meter.
8.3.
8.3, and I'm looking at it on their webpage.
As in they ranked that number on the chart.
Right.
Okay.
And just as a game which we I don't know if anyone was played. Have you played it, Jared?
No, there's new.
Paoli, have you played it?
No, I haven't had to try.
It's an interesting strategy game where it's basically set after the World War One, slightly different kind of timeline with kind of bit more mechanized vehicles and more walker kind of vehicles going around, and it's basically you create your nation and try and build up an empire and build up a stable state, and you start off with different resources. Each player starts off with different resources, different abilities, and it kind of works towards basically reaching an objective, and you have a hidden goal which you're going to try and complete. So you can start off with agricultural abilities, you can start off with combat acumen, popularity of the people, and it's quite an interesting game from what I've seen in a couple of streams and things, and a couple of people talking about it. And that's just another game I'd be interested in seeing and playing at some point in the future.
And you can get it at the low price of £50.
That's not bad, actually. I do love a game that's got like hidden agendas.
Sure.
I love a game that includes that.
No, yeah, I do like those as well. Though like though some games that's the point, which is like the Battlestar Galactica board game.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Because there's 2 defectors in that, isn't there?
Yeah, well,
one of them is hidden.
Well, like first you have one, and then the second one comes after the first after a certain round or whatever.
Yeah,
it's even got expansion.
Any game with a defector, any game with a hidden thing. There's one game that I would love to play, but I'm probably never going to be able to ever play it in my life. Was it The Sins of Dracula?
No idea.
Or
Sins of Dracula.
So is it The Sins of Dracula? There's a Dracula board game basically. It was made by Games Workshop in 1987.
All right.
And it was produced by them for a long time, and then they made their deal with Fantasy Flight Gaming.
Yeah.
And it was produced by them for a little bit.
Sure.
And then they cancelled that deal. And that was about 2 years ago now?
Something like that.
Maybe a year. And since they cancelled that deal, nobody can like build it, or hasn't decided to build it.
You could go on. Was it Tabletop Simulator?
You can go on Tabletop Simulator and play that, yes. However, I do like a board game to be a board game.
You need tangibility in a board game, Paoli. I know you're a complete gamer.
But it's all free.
It is all free.
They're all free, but tangibility is what makes a board game good.
Playing with your friends in a room, that's what
socialising.
What is friends, you?
Oh yeah. And this is coming from the man who has probably the largest collection of Warhammer in the whole group of people playing with us, which is a game that requires you to see people play with physical models and follow the tangibility of things, and he's just proclaiming that it's not needed.
You don't get sarcasm, do you?
Yeah, no. We get the sarcasm, Paoli. We just make it more sarcasm on you.
It's a bit interesting. You can play these board games with one player only sometimes.
I do like a one-player board game. There was.
Don't know. Like you're more prone to cheat. I find when you're playing by yourself.
I actually hold myself to a high standard.
Yeah, all right then.
It's weird.
Not this. I think if you're cheating yourself, you know that you're doing that, and you're not really playing it seriously. If you want to play a board game seriously, you don't cheat. It's like when you come to playing something like solitaire, cards or something.
Yeah, you don't.
If you can't win, You don't just go, I'll take a few steps back or I'll do this. It doesn't work like that. You will redo it and start again.
Yeah.
It's how the game works.
I'm very doubting the amount of playing time you have for some of these board games. Because like Kingdom Death, it says from 60 to 180 minutes. I'm
they always really undersell it. Like,
yeah. Like Scythe is 90 to 115 minutes.
And then
Pandemic was 45 minutes, and we were playing that for like 90. Like,
yeah.
I'm gonna check.
Yeah, it's they try to sell it to make people more appealing, find it more appealing, have people enjoy it, but it really is rank 8 in their system. Yeah.
You know what's rank 1?
What?
Gloomhaven.
What is that?
It's come out last year.
Yeah, last year. Yeah.
It's number 1 in overall thematic and strategy.
Euro-inspired tactical combat in a persistent world of shifting motives.
Players will take on the role of wandering adventurer with their own special set of skills and their own reasons for traveling in this dark corner of the world. Players must work together out of necessity to clear out menacing dungeons and forgotten ruins. In the process, they will enhance their abilities and experience and loot, discover new locations to explore and plunder, and expand the ever-branching story fueled by the decisions they make. It's kind of like a choose-your-own-adventure book, but with more steps.
A bit of dungeon delving and stuff.
You ever keep your finger on the page on that? It doesn't count.
I go back.
Yeah.
Go back at this one.
I can't remember what it was, but there was like this one where you could possibly go to this like really dank cave, and then there's this demon thing, and if you beat it and you put the crown on, it became the thing.
What?
Yeah.
Those are the best Ghostbusters episodes.
Yeah, they branched out everywhere, didn't they, with those books?
Oh, yeah. I actually watched
there was this one called Fear, which was the mechanical type, and it's like, okay.
That's weird.
What are you watching the other
I was
day?
just wondering if we're going to branch over to movies now.
Yeah, we can if we want to.
Because I recently watched the Ghostbusters movie.
Oh, did you?
The newest one.
Right, okay. We know that it's a kids' film.
Yeah.
Is it?
We know it's supposed to be.
Is it?
We know that it's Ghostbusters, it's Jack Black, it's 2 unheard of kid actors I've never seen before in my life. So, like, I'm not expecting anything.
Are we talking about Ghostbusters?
Yeah, not Ghostbusters.
We're talking about Jumanji, aren't we?
No, what are we talking about?
Jumanji?
No. We literally just talked about it. How have I done this?
The Jared's saying...
The books, the Goosebumps.
Oh, Goosebumps.
Oh, Goosebumps.
Goosebumps.
Oh, I watched
Yes,
that
I also like
Goosebumps
called Ghostbusters.
Shut up.
Yeah, that was a good book, actually. That was a...
It's a good series of books. That's what
it was alright.
The Adventure Goosebumps book.
Yeah.
Though for some reason I was always creeped out with the one where it was a abandoned lighthouse. We'd go in and you played record player, and the record player would be in backwards telling you to get out. Eventually the guy did, and then fell in from a bridge into a watery grave or something.
Okay.
But yeah.
They were always weirdly dark for kids.
Yeah.
Yessie was quite a good one as well, those books.
But yeah, so I watched the film.
Sure.
Recently. And like I said, Jack Black, kids, actors, blah, 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 we know it's a kids' film. You see my point now.
Yeah. Sure.
I went in not expecting anything at all. I was expecting to lose 2 hours of my life, but I was bored.
Sure.
Pleasantly surprised. Not the worst film I've ever seen.
Alright. But I'm sure there was something else you could have watched 2 hours for.
Oh yeah,
well,
I've seen
better.
all good films like.
Anime.
Oh yeah, I could have started on the animes. What animes have I started recently?
Don't worry, I'll give you a list of what you should watch.
I know your list.
I do.
I did try and get back into Blue Exorcist a little bit.
Why did you try?
I don't know why I tried. I thought it'd be better. I gave it a couple.
Why do you think it would be better?
This is not getting better. Please, it's such an okay concept. Please make it better.
No,
just...
It's making too much money for some reason.
I quite enjoyed Blue Exorcist. I thought it was literally, they drew it out far too long. They could have done so much more with it. But I do feel that anime was actually worth watching when you get into it.
Any other films?
Other films, I decided because I wanted just a really general bog standard shoot 'em up, no story. I ended up watching the Kingsman Golden Circle. It was what I expected.
That was so harsh. That started off, I was like, oh, this is going to be a terrible film. This is awful. Oh, it's Kingsman 2. What's wrong with Kingsman, man?
Well, it's the thing is, I enjoyed it, no means, but it's just as you kind of expect. It's a shoot 'em up spy ridiculousness movie, which is it's
funny
fabulous. It's funny as hell. It's great. And if
Yes,
you try to take it seriously, you will be looked down upon by everybody, including our host Powley, who will shake his head
Sure.
in a knowing manner.
Let's just take the piss out of the early James Bonds.
Yes,
You ever
but
seen the early James Bonds? They are awful.
True.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think that's what Kingsman's taking on, the early kind of James
that's
Bond
fair
role,
enough,
whereas
but-
James Bond is becoming a very much a storyline, streamlined thing, which is kind of losing.
It's still got Daniel Craig as an actor in it, so like,
Does it?
Who hates it?
just back up. Like,
Yeah, he's doing the next one as well.
Oh, is he?
unfortunately.
I thought he was
actually
getting.
got to come back for more money.
Yeah, of course.
more money.
Just like Jack Black for those new films,
Yeah.
like Jumanji.
I actually want to see Jumanji.
Actually, yeah, it looked okay.
It was
I
okay.
haven't seen it.
I have seen it.
Have you
If
seen
it
it?
hits a 5 out of 10, I'll be like, that's fine.
It's probably worth, but it's like, do you want to watch Jack Black try to act like a teenage girl?
Doesn't he do that normally?
Yeah.
But now you have to watch it.
Well, for one thing, it's got Jack Black. That's not a bad thing at all. That's pretty damn good.
No, he used to
You've
be
got the
good.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson. That's actually he's quite
Yeah,
funny.
no, come on. It's
Yeah,
He's
like-
quite funny.
Yeah, he's funny and like.
And then you've got
I saw one tweet.
Kevin Hart, who's
Yeah.
just hilarious.
Nah.
And then you've got Amy. I'm going to call her Amy Pond because I can't remember the actress's name.
Karen Gillan.
Karen
Yeah.
Gillan, who is, no offense, she's pretty fucking hot. She's pretty fucking hot.
She is, and she's also a good actress, and I really enjoyed her as Nebula.
I haven't seen
From
her,
one.
you know.
Oh yeah, I always forget about that.
Yeah, nobody ever realizes that's Karen Gillan. She's the Nebula, the blue one out of Guardians.
Jesus Christ, no, I didn't really think about that. Yeah, she is, isn't she?
Yeah, and now you won't be able to not see it.
Yeah.
But
No, I
I
probably
don't
will
mind
struggle.
that. She's still pretty cool.
no, she's fantastic in it.
Yeah.
Nah, it's alright.
It's all right.
It's Powley.
Seal of approval.
Yeah. Actually, that hasn't really gotten out to everyone yet, has it?
No,
No.
well,
No.
put it as one of the images.
Yeah, but
No,
all
I
the images,
won't.
Powley's still
They have
approval.
to.
It's
Actually,
it's
no, they
alright.
can't really get to it that easily.
Yeah.
We'll use it somewhere.
Well, would you some stickers if you, in the future, maybe Powley on it?
Yeah, sure.
And actually sell them.
Do you guys watch any other films? I'm kind of.
I haven't
Honestly,
really
I've
watched
been
any.
playing so much League with you guys. It's just unreal.
Yeah. I've still got Dunkirk to watch. I've got a DVD.
Oh, yeah, I saw
I
that,
was
yeah.
sat on my chair and I'm just like.
Bring it over. You could have watched it after this.
I could have, couldn't
Yeah.
We could watch Band of Brothers after this. I got that.
I? What's that?
Band of Brothers.
Yeah.
You've never seen Band of Brothers?
No.
Oh, jeez.
This reminds me of some others where like I've
Jared.
we've done another podcast where people are like, "You haven't watched Death Note?"
Oh my god.
Band of Brothers is a World War II action TV series, which was
Oh! Was it the miniseries, the HBO?
by HBO. Yes,
I've seen
not a
it.
mini series.
Oh, wait, no.
Yeah.
Oh! That one. Okay, there was one that was the Pacific.
The Pacific is the one afterwards.
Was the
the
miniseries.
miniseries. The one beforehand is Band of Brothers, where they have the Air Force, the basically Screaming Eagles and
Yes.
stuff. And
I have been told to watch it several times.
I have it. You can come and watch it. We can watch it today.
That'd be cool.
I have binge watched it numerous times. It is a very good TV series, and I'm sure anyone listening who is even worth their soul watching TV knows Band of Brothers, before any of the Netflix and stuff, was one of the good TV series you pick up as a box set.
Yeah, true. Actually, yeah, okay, that's a question. What was, like, your...
Oh, it's still
TV
9.5 on IMDb.
Oh, you're going to watch it now, aren't you?
Nah, maybe.
You're such a ratings whore. What was your TV series growing up? Like...
Kids one.
No, like, Okay, I'll give you an example. Mine was Buffy the Vampire Slayer / Angel. That was
So-
what I watched when I grew up.
So would I.
Nice.
That was because we're the same age. The thing is, you can't just say, well, maybe, except for Powley,
he
who's
different tastes. He was also
Yeah.
Finnish, so...
So, and he's
No,
also
I
lived
saw, I
all over
saw,
the place.
I saw like hints of it here and there, but never got into it.
No, I was the same. I was Buffy. I
I'm
watched-
just Joss Whedon fan.
I actually watched Buffy again
I just watched.
recently as
Mm.
well.
It
It's-
kind of holds up. But
Still holds up a little bit. As long as you're not going for the kind of serious storyline, Buffy
Mm.
holds up very well.
Yeah.
It's still very funny.
For some reason, when I was in Finland in like the early 21st century,
Yeah,
and, like,
essentially,
we can
damn,
pretty
Alan.
much you can pretty much say it for every single year. But anyway, it's like early 2001, 2002 or something, like when I was back in Finland. For some reason, Charmed came on the TV all the time.
yeah,
I watched
that.
I
remember that.
That was huge. It's kind of like the Supernatural of now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, and I went back to it like a year or two ago or something. It's like
Just didn't start.
I was like, nah. Get the demons more.
Yeah.
Which is why I like Angel, because there was a comedy, but it was dark.
Yeah, much darker. Much darker than Buffy.
Otherwise, I just watched Lost, like all the way through.
Oh, my uncle had that whole Lost.
I avoided that.
Everyone
Hell
watched
out of
it.
that.
No,
I didn't watch it either.
At some point, we had a Lost marathon with my brothers and I.
I just couldn't do it. I tried to watch Lost, but I just kept getting bored. I understand where the appeal was now.
Yeah, you skipped the boring ones.
Yeah.
Well,
But when you don't know what
anime
there's so
level
many.
filler in that.
It's a super filler.
To be fair, like it was probably due to the fact that we're writing the thing as it went along, and that's kind of it really is to write yourself in a corner when you do it.
Yeah, it was part of that writers' strike, wasn't it?
Yeah, that also, yeah.
Yeah, that was bad TV. That time.
Reminds me of Heroes a little bit because the season 2 was kind of.
Oh
shit.
God, Heroes! Oh, that was good.
So
season.
many concepts for that.
Yeah, it was really
so
nice.
good. And
They
did
could
it
have gone so far with it, but they.
Well, it was pretty much X-Men with a little bit different things here and
X-Men.
there. X-Men from Marvel,
No, we're aware. Would you mean the TV series or films?
both.
Oh, fair
Like
I
the
didn't know
general
that.
concept of X-Men.
I'm sorry, the TV series has skipped over my head. I didn't even know there was one. I know they've got a new one
no,
coming
the
out.
animated series, like
Oh, the
cartoon.
animated
the greatest
series.
'90s cartoon.
Nah,
Yeah, one of
that's
them.
Batman, the animated series.
Oh, that
Batman
is
holds
still
time.
technically '90s.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you the early '90s for Batman
Yeah.
because it was early '90s. Late '90s though, X-Men.
Oh.
Sure.
Come on, best.
Who else loved watching the ridiculous Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles TV?
Didn't get
series
much of it.
You never engage with TMNT.
Nah, my cousin had a DVD of a few episode. I mean, VHS. Sorry, that was a while ago.
VHS.
Wow.
But I was like, okay, that's nice.
But no. I'm not even talking about the animated version. I'm talking about the ridiculous one where they had guys dressed up as turtles.
Wait, what? The live action? There was a live
They had
action?
a live action one before even the animation came
Oh
out.
yeah, I remember
It
seeing
was
bits
even
of that.
more ridiculous and hilarious.
I could just see that being like scary. Like
Well,
kids just watching, just like, oh my god, what the fuck?
Well, it's a little bit like that, but
Mm.
it's pretty damn hilarious because you just look at these kind of guys in these suits and just thinking, Jesus, that's so much
Who
rubber.
watches the cartoon and be like, you know what we need? Guys in suits. for this.
This came out before the cartoon. It's what started it.
No.
Is what? It came out before the cartoon.
Came out before the cartoon. It was older. I think it might even be the 80s it came
No.
out.
Good lord.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't
Some
get
of us
Moomy, the animated series, did you?
Oh, Moomy.
We did actually get Moomy.
Yeah, we
Oh,
did.
did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
he's
did
like
get
the
Moomy.
kind of like little.
Yeah.
He looked somewhat like an.
Apparently they're supposed to be
anteater, but
trolls, but I don't know.
Yeah, they're weird white things.
Albino anteaters, kind
Yeah.
of.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, capybaras.
Ah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that has some fucked up shit in there.
There's a lot of stuff as a kid that has some really fucked up stuff in
Yeah.
it. Like,
Sooty was a bit.
Also,
like
that reminds
as
me of Alfred Drake Quack, which was like a dark character going through like and what was it called? And
Just cutting in here.
Animorphic.
Lost me completely. Who
Yeah,
is
that's
that?
fine.
yeah, I
But-
don't know who that is. Is it kind of like what, like Scrooge McDuck?
No,
Because he was
it's.
messed up.
I think it was earlier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me just look for
I
that
think this is
picture
a
of
rather
it.
niche kind of. This is rather a European.
No, well, there's an English dub of it.
Nope.
Yeah, no, they never made it.
They never made it over here.
I got the Finnish one, dub of it when I was young, and it's got Nazism in there.
What?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
okay.
The guy, like the main rival of the main character, eventually becomes Hitler.
To be fair, I think that happened in a lot of Looney Tunes as well.
Did it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
imagine there's a lot
but this
of
one
it,
was more serious about it.
like-
Because it was like eventually economics for some reason, like because the kingdom they were in, where they live, was out of money. Therefore, people were looking for a political solution, like to change it from a monarchy to something else.
Yeah.
And then, so the Crow Party become getting more powerful, and then they got this one. Then the Alfred's
See
rival.
where this is going.
One podcast episode like we don't talk about Nazis.
Well, you have to consider it this way. Historically, the events of the Nazi Party are probably... Sorry, this is now not anywhere near any of the normal topics we talk about. But historically,
Is it?
the Nazis had
Seems to
such
be a
a
running thing.
stupidly overpowered influence over the whole world
Yeah.
because of what they
They're as
represented.
close. Like was it that? Like some comedian said, they are as close as we are ever going to get to the characteristically evil people.
Yes.
Like they had skulls on their uniform, evil people.
Are we the baddies?
Like,
Are we the baddies?
Like,
Yeah, Mitchell and Webb.
if you were
Yeah.
going to draw a stereotype of an evil person, they just fit it for some
I
reason.
love how
like,
you use skull as the connotation, but the thing is, skulls by no means are anything evil. They're just people association with evil. In some cultures, skulls are worshipped still, and by some death cults, which are old traditional kind of people worshipping families, still have skull motifs and things.
There's
The
that.
idea of a skull is scary because it is something that comes from within us that shouldn't be separated from the body.
Guys,
But by no means.
I have
is
something
it
to tell you. There's a skeleton inside you trying to get out.
oh, I was looking at that. There was something on the internet the other day where it's just like, I'm talking to my therapist, like, you need to stop being afraid of skeletons, and just look at her and just like, you see the skeleton inside her trying to trick you.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. But yeah.
Where were we?
Alfred J. Quack.
Alfred J.
Oh
Quack.
yeah, the Nazi duck.
Yeah, like, so he eventually, the guy gets powerful because he gets money and therefore gets away with doing stuff in the country and becomes the head of state.
I can see how that is literally just connotations of Nazi.
Also, he's kind of Napoleon because he wears Napoleonic uniform.
That's probably to get around the fact that you can't actually. I think there's something about you can't draw a Nazi, like something you can't do Nazi iconography in Germany, right?
No, you can't. You can't show it anywhere.
Computer
Yeah.
games had to be redesigned for Germany.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's just
so-
like Wolfenstein has to do that.
Wait, yeah. Who did they fight in?
Robots, as in they've literally changed the image to robotic people, and they've taken out the whole symbol of Nazism completely from the
So in like Medal of Honor, they're running up the beaches towards robots.
game. Yes.
That is some fucking. That's
Actually,
scarier.
The government actually set out.
That's from the cartoon.
That is supremely Nazist. Even the design of that is Nazist.
I like he's got duck foot as a symbol though.
Yeah, Crowfoot really actually.
That was
But,
really
Yeah, but
funny thing is that he's also half duck or something. So haha. Yeah, he has to pretend not to be a full-blooded crow.
There's a lot of connotations.
there's
Yeah.
a lot of connotations there.
And you watch this as a 5-year-old and or 7-year-old. I can't remember how old I was.
The more you know how bad it is, the less you're going to be like.
Yeah.
support them.
Sure.
Yeah, that's
Anyway.
terrifying. The fact that that was about actually.
Yeah.
Shall we
So,
go into anime now, or
Well,
There's not really much anime we've been
yeah,
watching.
I haven't
well, I
watched
have.
any more.
I watched a few episodes that are upcoming.
No.
Okay. what do you
Well, I
watch?
can talk about it. Trigger has a new series called Darling in the Franxx. It's a mech anime.
Oh,
Alright.
you mentioned that to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. to
Let
see.
me see. It's also got A1 pictures on it. Let me see. What kind of category it is? If it has, yeah, it's mecha sci-fi. So it kind of
That's actually something I might be interested to watch in the future. Just
Like giant robots. Like,
yeah, it's got giant robots.
I'm always down for giant robots.
Yeah.
But-
Except that to pilot them, you need to have a boy and a girl, and the girl kind of becomes the controls. for the mech.
Why?
I don't know.
Just one anime series. I just want one anime series to just women. Like, just do women right, man. Like, they don't have to be
Unfortunately.
that. Why?
Unfortunately, they don't make money. Apparently,
Yeah.
God.
Sexualized is it?
we got the
Cells.
second season of Seven Deadly Sins. I think it's called in English.
The second season.
Yeah.
I thought they already. Oh no, they did like 4 episodes. didn't
Yeah, it's like a mid-season
hang on.
thing.
Didn't that get given over to Netflix?
they?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I did.
And is this actually Netflix not owning it anymore? Are we able to watch-
Netflix kind of like they say Netflix original, and all they do is dub it.
Yeah.
Or sub it or something.
Yeah, they just have it on
And then
there.
they call it Netflix original,
Yeah.
but they sub the fuck
It's
out.
probably just because they're the distribution to everyone else outside of Japan or something.
Yeah.
Oh.
We
But,
got Overlord season 2, which I'm also
That's a
watching.
good, actually, I have watched that. I've enjoyed it because it is staying straight up to the manga,
Yeah.
which I have enjoyed the manga so far. I'm looking
Same.
forward to seeing whether they follow through because the manga's at a bit of a slump at the moment. I've
Yeah,
not
a little
seen
bit.
much more of the manga.
It's fun
recently.
how like you have like several chapters, and then you just condense it to 3 episodes. And
Yeah, that's what they kind of have done. But I'm looking forward to this this progression of the Overlord series because that was a fantastic series, the first one.
yeah, the basis is that it's a guy who stays on once a MMO stops being run. So when it's like they're running, when they're stop, like close down the servers,
Oh, okay.
and he stays on and somehow wakes up in a new fantasy world. So pretty much that guy dies, moves on to a fantasy world kind of trope that's been happening a lot.
Right.
But in this one, he's like the evil overlord of monsters in this kingdom, like this castle type of thing, fortress.
Okay.
It's pretty strong.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Interesting news about, well, I don't know if it's news anymore. I think I heard about it like 3 months ago. But they are doing another manga run of Hunter x Hunter.
Oh, I know.
They've already doing the manga one at the moment.
Yeah.
They've got one of the newest chapters that have been written into English is actually up at the moment.
Oh, are they bringing it out as an anime or?
Oh,
just
the anime is
just
coming
something
up soon as well. Yeah, they're
Oh,
doing
okay.
the anime as well, but they're starting to write. The manga's starting to be serialized, and it's quite an interesting story so far. It's Hunter x Hunter, but it's going very dark this time. Very dark.
As opposed to the other times.
No.
Killer
This
Whales
is probably-
ripped out someone's heart.
Yeah, but this is darker. I'd say almost. This is kind of psychopathic dark. It's
There's
got
a weird
some
thing.
real
Sorry.
dark elements to it, and you got is it Kiora, the one that has red eyes, glowing red
Kiora.
eyes? Kiora, she's going to find her. Pardon? He's never
Glowing
really
red
sure.
eyes. What?
Is it male or female? The one that's the beginning, blonde haired.
Kua is white haired. Oh, I know who you mean.
Yeah, one that eyes go glow red. For her.
Oh, why can't I remember his name? Is it he?
Is it he? Yeah,
The bodyguard.
the bodyguard. Yeah,
I can't
You
remember.
watch Hunter x Hunter?
I have watched it, yes.
yeah, but the
I
family.
can't remember this name.
I don't know.
If you remember the storyline where the family, if any of you watched the original Hunter x Hunter, where the eyes all got taken out from the family members and he's hunting for them.
Oh, is it the guy who went after the spider troop
Yeah.
or whatever?
he-
Oh,
No,
yeah.
He
That
that's-
went after the Phantom Troop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The only name is just running through my head right now is Leorio, but I know it's not Leorio.
Leorio is the other one. Yeah,
I love
but
Leorio.
you're scared to find out who actually owns the eyes now, and you get to see some very interesting stuff coming up with it.
Cool. I wondered what he was doing.
Yeah,
He's just been taking the back seat.
He's taken a big old jump actually in the Hunter x Hunter world. When you catch up with it, you'll see the big jump, and you finally get to meet the dad.
Oh, yeah.
You get to meet what's his
Oh
face's
no,
dad.
we met him.
Oh, did you
We
meet
met
him
him already.
already?
Yeah, he was being a dick. Leorio punched him in the face. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Because they did that, like, they finished it off with...
Yeah. Climbing that tree.
Yeah, climbing the tree
Ant-Man
where he
died,
was.
but they finished it off with 12 episodes of kind of like Gon is in a coma,
Yeah.
and they get that run, and then Leorio meets his dad, punches him in the face, and then they finish it off with a tree where Gon's okay and stuff, but I can't
Yeah.
remember his goddamn name.
Bors is the... Oh, you're talking about the one with the red, glowing red eyes.
Kurapika. Kurapika.
Kurapika.
Fuck it.
Kurapika.
It's okay.
Kurapika. It's Kurapika, yeah. He, I can never tell whether
It's definitely he.
It's definitely he,
It's
okay.
definitely
He gets to find basically the owner of his family's eyes, which is
he.
interesting.
That's good.
Well, he doesn't know yet, but you know who it is because they give you a big connotation. And this guy's a real sicko. Really sick.
Is it weird that, like, between Western and, like, Eastern, like, not, like, storytelling has, like, you will, some Western films will never go as dark as, like, Japanese films or anime or whatever.
Alfred Hitchcock went a bit dark like that.
Well, he went suspense dark, didn't he?
Yeah.
But like, we go dark. We definitely
Well, yeah, like,
Although, actually, I know-
Black Mirror is probably the closest thing.
Yeah,
maybe.
Black
I
Mirror's
would
the
not
closest
say that's
thing.
our darkest thing. Like,
Oh,
Well,
American
no,
Horror
it's not.
Story.
I said it's closest thing, like one
American
of the
Horror
closest things.
Story, that's pretty
Oh,
dark.
I haven't watched it actually.
That is pretty dark.
I'm
That's literally having people's hearts ripped out and weird fucking shit going down.
yeah, like watch any horror film, we go fucking nuts. We
Nah.
just confine it to genres.
Yeah, we do confine it to genre,
Like,
whereas
yeah, sure.
Japan includes it
Anime
in a
will
lot of
just
things.
Rush, like, hey, here's this really cute high school drama about volleyball.
Mm.
Hey, in the same one, there's a vampire killing people. It's just like you don't mix those two.
Should
Oh yeah, that does remind me of was it Madoka Magica? You haven't watched it, have you?
No.
It's 10 episodes, pretty good. But it's like it tries to subvert the was it the magical girl trope and go to dark places with that.
I watched a couple of episodes which freaked me out. It's been advertised by Crunchyroll quite a bit. Animus the Mage Bride?
Animus' Major Bride, yeah.
Agent Major's Bride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird. Very weird. I watched 2 episodes of it.
Very popular,
And in that
Yeah.
time, it's very popular, but I don't understand why. By the second episode, he saved her even though he let her fall into the trap. And he's her owner, slave master, quite literal slave.
Oh, I know, yeah.
And then goes,
Well, she sold
I
herself
also
into
want
slavery.
to make you my
Wife.
And it's a giant skull-faced demon. And she's just like, oh, I could marry this guy. And you're like, you don't know him. Like, he's your slave owner. And he's just gone, I will marry you one day, wife. And you're just like, cool. No. No one reacts like that.
To be fair, she's got pretty much nowhere else to go.
Just kill yourself. People find ways out. Like,
Also, the coward's way out is the way out.
yeah, but why would you just...
Jared promotes suicide, apparently.
Giant skull-faced demon. Like, you're not just going to be cool with
He's
this.
very nice.
He's not, though. He's a total dick.
Yeah.
She's just like, no, don't take my clothes off. And he's like, shut up, bitch. Like, get in the van. Like, and she said, yeah, this will be my husband. It's fine.
Another anime that's coming out is Violet Evergarden.
What's that? Is that not... What's it about?
It's this, I don't want to say girl, but because she's older than that, I think a little bit.
I think woman is the term.
Yeah, sure. But anyway, she is a World War One veteran. Well, in that universe is World War One veteran because she saw combat, and she's kind of robotic in a way. Like she can only function in the way like in a army military type of way.
Okay, so she's institutionalized.
Yeah, pretty much. So but now the war's over, so she has to kind of integrate into more normal society, which is kind of weird for her.
This sounds like a redo of Pumpkin Scissors. That was a good anime. I don't know if you've ever come across it.
No.
Basically, it was...
Oh, we're gonna stop talking about this now.
He's like halfway through the explanation.
Sorry. You carry on with yours,
Yeah, sure.
and I'll come back with Pumpkin Scissors.
So we just talk over each other.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, she wants to meet her unit's major, which she kind of probably had kind of the closest thing to a romantic relationship, because afterwards she wants to know because the major told her that he loves him. No, he loves her, and she doesn't understand what that concept means. And so she becomes a typist in a store, in not a shop, but like a company, in order to learn what that means.
Okay, so I'm very confused how you make an anime.
Yeah,
like
sure.
Okay, it's not...
My explanation might be very bad.
Yeah.
At the minute, it's a horrible thing, and I hope anyone suffering from it gets help. But it just sounds like PTSD, the anime.
Pretty
I'm
much.
very confused by how you make an anime out of that.
It's probably just how would it actually go, like how would you actually go about
that's
it?
what freaks me out. Like, there's the split. In the West, if we were going to make that, we wouldn't make an anime. We'd just make a live action film.
Sure,
discussing
very
trauma,
short,
because it would be much more impactful seeing somebody go through that.
Yeah.
Rather than a cartoon.
Yeah. Also, there's like Shiki, which is about how if vampires were real, how would they go about actually taking over a small town? And that's kind of a horror thing anyway.
Why would you bother? I never understood that. If you're a vampire, why would you bother?
Well, because you want to kind of you want a safe place.
You want to say place, you want to farm people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't bother taking it over. That's just too much exposure. Just take 1 or 2 people every month.
Yeah, but that's because we've been...
But this is a very closed off community in the mountains of Japan.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can see issues. Okay.
But no...
Also, it's like most of the year it's covered in shade because the trees were surrounding the area.
Wait, are we still talking about the PTSD one?
No, I'm calling about Shiki.
Vampires.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, no, that
Yeah, your pumpkin spice.
slightly one, that Pumpkin Scissors one.
Oh.
Pumpkin Scissors is basically a similar thing where a guy basically,
Oh, the major's
he's
dead.
been genetically modified. He's been genetically modified to fight tanks. So he's basically like this big butch dude. He carries basically a small hand cannon that
Oh,
he...
it's Barrett, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, he basically stands
And
in
the
the
other
way
guy.
of a tank, charges towards it with a blow light, and shoots through the grill plate of the driver to kill the driver and kill the tank. And basically, he's come out of a war with being a number almost of there's like groups of these numbers who basically are the hidden units who like specialist nightmare infantry that were created to win this war, and he gets kind of pulled into basically a peacekeeping kind of reparation force, which is a military branch trying to kind of fix the issues after the war.
Right.
And it's a group of idealistic people who are serving in the army, but they've never served in the war. They came in afterwards. The war ended before that. So they're all trying to help. And basically goes through kind of them discovering the really dark, shady under empire, the kind of whole dark military background. Because war is hell, and they really explore kind of... People will go to the extremes to win a war.
Yeah.
And kind of really explore some really unpleasant stuff. And this guy trying to become a human again, because he hasn't really been one since he was a child, because he was taken as a child, sold into becoming this experiment.
Because hell is for children, and therefore war is for children.
Apparently so, but yeah. But what a great one was
What's
basically...
what's the property called in math? Anyway, no.
Yeah, but no.
No, it's like... No, it's not transformative, but it's like something property of... Transformative property, I can't remember what it's called.
We'll
It's been too
we'll
long.
think about it.
That's too basic.
Yeah.
So sorry. It's just like A equals B,
Easy.
B equals C, therefore A equals C.
No.
But anyway.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah, okay.
Transitive property?
Transitive seems like a word.
Yeah. Anyway,
No, they're a
that's
great
your math lesson for
kind
today.
of example of this is basically a character that was created in it. Was a guy who basically was stuck in this thermal suit, basically prevent from his flamethrower from burning to death. The issue with it is the flamethrower he was using was so high, they filled the suit with a liquid which basically dissolves your skin. And when he came out from the war, he ended up getting stuck in the suit while his whole unit died in front of him as they took off the suits, their skin all fell off. And it's really kind of grim kind of showing of what possibly could be occurring in wartime, kind of the extremes people would go to.
That was really good.
It
Yeah.
really
I was
just
going to say,
got
up
them.
until that point, it sounds very similar to the Reach, the Halo Reach book.
Yeah.
Where they describe like the integration of Spartans, like the training of them.
If this keeps going, we're always going to go, that sounds a little bit like this, and that sounds a little bit like that. And that
I'm
sounds...
sorry, where would you like to go?
I don't know. Somewhere.
Well, it has.
Well, I can carry on then, can't I?
Yeah.
But the
I
thing
was
is, it
pointing
does
it
show
out.
there's a whole genre of this kind of theme, which hasn't really got a name for it, but really kind of does show that as a species we are interested for some reason into genetic modification of ourselves to do more violence, apparently, at the moment.
Well, I wouldn't say we're interested in the genetic modification. We're interested in the extremes of any subject. So basically, what that subject
A
is
very
about
good point, actually.
is the integration of a soldier into society again. But we've done that story a lot because it's an issue that has occurred in every generation. How do you integrate someone that
Back
has been
into-
in war
yeah.
back into society? And an anime will take that and go, how do we make that ridiculously extreme?
Yeah.
How do
And
we...
they go full genetic modification, and
Now-
how do you make that guy go back into
Now, how do we get that to go into high school?
Well, yeah, they probably send him to high
They've
school.
done that as well, yeah.
Is this because most of the viewers of anime in Japan are high school age?
Yeah.
Or school in school anyway, because they have the most time, apparently.
What they kind of do and don't.
Yeah.
because
Gotta get those
Japanese high
into
school's
exams.
Extreme. Although I do like the whole system where the pupils in the Japanese house in any Japanese school actually are the janitors of the school, so the school is kept clean by the kids, which I think it really is a very good, strong moral kind of provider for keeping your home clean, taking care.
Well, it's more
of
like
your
respect
possessions.
for their...
Respect for your environment,
Yeah.
which is something I actually could quite appreciate. It's quite a very smart way of.
It's just Jericho's looking around our room. It's like,
Yeah, I look around here and I'm like, no, this is a student pad. What are you on about?
What's your place like, Jared?
Oh, mine is messy as well.
shall we move on to the news?
Yes, let's do news.
Oh.
Apparently, Game of Thrones is coming back in April 2019.
Oh, we're going on that news. Okay. I'm not surprised. By
Not
this
really,
fact.
no. They did say it was going to be a later one.
Yeah, but it's also was it the last one?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the last episode series. They're going to put so much money into this. It's going to be insane.
To be fair, they've made a whole bunch.
Oh yeah, no, Game of Thrones is insane. What I would love is another book That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
nice.
But the thing is, the
George,
series,
come on,
TV
man.
series now is kind of separated from George R. R. Martin.
It has.
He just has a bit of input just to say where he wants it to go. But
Which is where, like, there was, I think, a Reddit comment or something.
Yeah.
But, like, the best comment about it is it's gone from a well-crafted, fantastical story to fan fiction.
A little bit, yeah.
Because, like, I don't know if you guys felt it in the last series. There
Yeah,
was
I did.
a lot of disconnect in setting, speed between those settings,
Yeah.
especially that dragon going back, and it's just kind of like,
Mm.
would he have made it in time?
Yeah. Also, the Golden Company is supposed to be there and attacking
Which I
Lad
thought was
King's.
a really interesting side note, and they decided to remove that plotline entirely.
Yeah, I know.
Just-
Also, there was that nephew. Was it the nephew?
Griffin?
Yeah, something like that. But Daenerys' nephew.
Yeah. Which, like, he's still around in the book, but
Yeah.
in the TV series, and it's just kind of like,
And then it's not what's his face Jorah that's got the skin disease, whatever, stone skin. It's the leader of the Golden Company that does.
who's training the boy in...
Yeah. Also, what's his face Tyrion's supposed to be with them as well.
Yeah.
Or, no, they
No,
separated.
Tyrion just separated.
Yeah, they did
Yeah.
when
I
they.
think he's still in the slave camp. I can't remember how.
Yeah, I can't remember anymore.
Yeah, the book's been so long now.
Yeah,
I don't
true.
know it, but
George, get on it.
I think, and I have no confirmations about this. It's just pure headcanon. I think George isn't allowed to release another book until they finish the TV series.
That'd be really stupid.
that would be
It'd be
retarded.
very stupid, but I think it might be.
But
some
if it's
kind
his
of
intellectual
stupid
property,
contract.
I reckon
Yeah, you'd think
because
he
it's
has
his
control.
intellectual property, I think actually he probably has. He can decide whenever he wants to write
Yeah.
a book.
Yeah, but like,
And the funny thing is, I love how you're all going, "Oh, bring out a book," but I read Game of Thrones before it even was near a TV series, and the books were written in the 90s.
They were.
They were written years ago, and they're taking as long as they take. Stop asking for another one. He's going to take as long
He's
as he
gonna
wants.
die before it comes out.
yeah,
Well,
like,
then fucking hell, I don't
I've
care.
seen-
I've had fucking Robert R. Jordan die on me, and I had the Wheel of Time
I've had Terry
series.
Pratchett die on me, and that
So
was-
have I.
Yeah.
Everyone has that one.
Yeah.
I'm giving you an example of something ridiculous. He wrote 12 books and then died, and the finished off ones are done by his son and somebody else, and they're sorry, they are crap. They are shit. And it's kind of like, we had this amazing 12 series, and I mean, these books aren't small. They're pretty much the same as Game of Thrones, if bigger. And we get to 12 books, and he dies. And you can't get a proper finishing because he died too
see,
soon.
I've never had this issue, and I'd like to not have it. I've seen gifs of that man bouncing naked on a trampoline, yet I haven't heard news of a book. Like,
It takes time to craft perfection.
he
Sure.
was bouncing on a trampoline naked. Get in the study, you bastard.
You
Anyway,
think that's bad?
probably
Yeah,
should move on from this one.
sorry, just as a point of contention though, everyone goes, "Oh, Game of Thrones kills everybody off." Ha! Try reading Malzahn Books of the Fallen. That kills off more people than any
Yeah,
Game of
it
Thrones
does.
books, and it basically is massive. Screw you for liking any character.
Well,
You
not
should
really.
like
There's those
characters.
gods that don't really die.
Yeah,
Bobby
but-
won't.
Well, they do die. They
No,
do,
yeah, it's
they
on
do
the
the
thing.
whole kind of troll gods do die guys. We do actually kill them off
Ah.
sometimes. And I think Malzahn Books of the Fallen are. If you want a really in-depth fantasy series that is better than Game of Thrones, go Malzahn Books of the
Only
Fallen.
we won't have the repeat of the very first trial of this podcast like a year ago, where we just go off about it for hours.
Yeah, but Malzahn Books of the Fallen, best book series.
Yeah, they're pretty good. It's really hard to find the first one.
No,
If we're talking,
they're in
um,
Waterstones.
Oh, I haven't seen it there.
I can go get you one.
No.
If we're talking books, there was a book I read recently.
Nah, it's alright.
Shut up. I'm actually plugging this. It was by Adrian Tchaikovsky.
Okay.
And I assume no relation to the composer.
I recognise the name though. Is this a beetle kind of insect one?
Yes, it is.
I've read
It's
those. They're really good.
Very good. It's
Very
called
good series.
Children of Time.
Yeah.
And it is a fantastic sci-fi book because it's one of those where makes you care so much more for the non-human species.
Yes. The ants, the beetles. It's a
The
very.
crafting of it was fantastic.
I
I don't want
read
to
them
spoil
years
anything.
ago.
I just highly recommend it. If you like sci-fi that is based in quite a lot of literal science, it's very good.
So-
Also,
so pretty
if
much
you
what
go on
sci-fi should
Facebook
be.
and you like the
Yeah,
Agent
what sci-fi should
Tchaikovsky,
be.
if you look up the page for the books, I might be one of the ones owning one of the fan pages. Don't bother joining it. I don't do shit all on it. I actually have a fan page I built years ago when I read the books for the first time because I loved them so much, and I've done fuck all with it, and I get a lot of followers on it. There's a lot of people liking the page, but I do fuck all on it.
But speaking of the authors, Ursula Le Guin also died like last week.
Who's this?
She wrote the was it the Lancy Quartet?
I'm afraid I've not read that.
Well,
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on that one too.
let me see if I can actually find the proper name. I might have said it.
In other news, the founder of IKEA also died today.
Yes, I did hear about that.
Do you know he started it when he was 17?
Yep, and his whole house is furnished by his own stuff, which is kind of shows how much investment he had into his own product.
It's the Earthsea series.
Earth and the Sea series.
Earthsea.
Yeah. Oh yes,
There's
that's
a
been around
Studio
for a while.
Ghibli movie out of one of it,
Oh.
That's
which is made by the Sun, which is why Miyazaki thinks it's. Was Miyazaki? Yeah, thinks it's crap because doesn't like his son's work.
Wow.
Yeah, he's that blonde.
That's some parenting there.
Yeah. Apparently, like the first 2 acts are good, but then the last act is not as great. It doesn't build up to this one because it's a whole bunch of build up to a climax, and the climax is kind of like an anticlimax. It's not as strong as it should be. But anyway, she's dead.
That's just like even cheerful. She's dead. Thanks, darling.
In other news, Dragon Age 4 has been confirmed.
Has it?
It has been confirmed. A trailer has been released, and a promise from the studio to put more into character and storytelling.
That'd be nice.
Wow!
Actually, I just wanted to go back to KOTOR and make those kind of games again. But then BioWare doesn't make those games as well as Obsidian, so get BioWare to make the engine and then get Obsidian to make the better version of it.
Or put the two together into one.
No, I can't have that. They've already tried. Bethesda's already tried it once, and they nearly bankrupted Obsidian by doing so.
That's because Bethesda is very greedy and doesn't actually contribute as much.
I don't know. They made
For
good
fantastic RPG system series kind of creators, they are very poor at managing other companies that they take on or help.
games.
They have a reputation for that.
Yeah, it's funny how because they were Obsidian was promised a bonus if they made a certain amount of Metacritic score, and the Metacritic score was off by 2.5 from what they were supposed to get in the contract, and therefore didn't get the bonus. And they did that. They got that to happen by making them release the game a little bit earlier than they were ready to.
Yeah, New Vegas we're talking about here.
Yes.
If anyone's not aware, New Vegas, despite coming out a little bit early, was still a fucking amazing Fallout game. And
Well, there's mods to fix that anyway.
there's mods to fix that, and even the Obsidian people have actually done efforts
Yeah.
to fix the put in the bits that are missing. And there's
Just
some
like KOTOR
stuff
2.
in it. There's some stuff in the Fallout New Vegas mods that are just fantastic, and some of what the original plans to develop it were in it are so good. Such as example, you weren't meant to just be a human. You could be any of the kind of odd mutants. You could be a ghoul. You could be a super mutant.
Really?
Yeah, that was the original concept, the plan.
Well, I can kind of see that because you had that mountain area with
the whole super
what's
mutant
his,
community.
what's his name? I can't remember.
Yeah, you were aimed to be any of those things, but because they were rushed, they had to cancel.
Also, that kind of makes sense with the Bright followers of Bright, or what
Yep.
they're called, Bright followers.
Yeah,
That's very interesting.
it was a real turnaround on the game. It was going to be a real game changer, but because of basically Bethesda needed the money in cash sooner than later, they pushed.
Also wanted to
Obsidian.
get the company, Obsidian.
They never did get it, did they?
No, that because they refused to, and they nearly went bankrupt by refusing Bethesda's buyout.
Yeah, but then Bethesda.
But then Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So we'll show.
then
But
we
this
got
is the
Pillars of
example of
Eternity.
Bethesda being bad at managing other companies. They
Yeah.
are bad at it.
Sure.
They're
Also,
good.
Pillars of Eternity 2 is coming out at some point.
What's that?
Pillars of Eternity 2.
Oh wow! Is that actually getting? I'm
It's
surprised.
coming out. Yeah,
I know it's quite a good kind of little cult.
yeah
game.
I haven't played it yet.
I've watched
like
some
to the end of it.
playthrough of it, and it looks really kind of a nice, old-fashioned RPG
Yeah,
system game.
they are pretty much.
But I
Next
never
year,
got
apparently.
into applying it myself because I just didn't have the time.
No, I have it and I haven't had the time to play it. I spent more time on Tourney, but that was because that has more of an evil campaign thing, so I like that more.
Apparently,
Because-
our Resident Evil man playing all the.
Well,
evil
I'm not
factions.
Resident I'm not Resident Evil.
The president of Evil Town.
I'm the resident of this house of evil.
Right.
Sure.
There we go.
Anyway.
That's what you're trying to say.
Semantics.
Oh,
Yeah.
good boys.
Anyway, Epic Games is shutting down their MOBA or Paragon.
Really?
Yeah.
I was just about to try that.
Sure.
Why are they doing that?
Let me see.
Just lack of interest?
Probably. Have you seen anything around, like in commercials or anything, Modern League or
No,
Dota?
not really.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a very hard
Market.
market to break into.
Yeah.
You got juggernauts in that one.
Fucking, you got League and Dota.
So I'm gonna.
Two big companies.
Here's
Riot
the
and
quote.
Valve.
Here's Epic
Huge.
Games' quote on the thing. Hey everyone! It's with heavy hearts we decided to close down Paragon. We truly appreciate everything you've put into Paragon. We received many passionate ideas for where to take the game. The outpouring of thoughtful suggestions in another testament to this incredible community. After careful consideration and many difficulty internal debates, we feel there isn't a clear path for us to grow Paragon into a MOBA that retains enough players to be sustainable. We didn't execute well enough to deliver on our promise of Paragon. We have failed you despite the team's incredible hard work, and we're sorry. To try and make this right, Epic is offering a full refund to every Paragon player for every purchase on any platform. This refund will come directly from Epic rather than your platform provider.
Wow.
They're pretty very nice about it.
Crap.
Wow.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But I guess they're doing it well enough on Fortnite, but god damn, that's a big move.
That's a fantastic.
They make enough
that's
from Unreal
very-
Engine anyway.
very respectable move actually by
Yeah.
the company to do that.
Massive respect to the company for doing that. That's a big loss.
It does show a lot of good ethics are still around in the game. community.
Or that there weren't enough players anyway. So.
Yeah.
True. And they could probably cover the losses with the Fortnite.
Yeah.
Which I have to say, I've looked at Fortnite a couple of times and thinking that looks pretty good.
It is.
It does
It's
kind of.
very fun.
You played it, have you?
Oh, I played a couple. I am crap at it, but I played a couple of games. I recommend playing with friends.
Yeah.
Just
Does
because it
look
makes
like
the
a friend's
experience a lot more funny. I'm not good at it. I'm not going to say I am, but the times I have played it, especially when I played it with friends, it was just fun. It was easy game, easy fun. Like, there are some people. Obviously, this is true across all games. There are some people that make the experience
Listen,
a bit
try
less
us.
fun because hey, I'm going to snipe you with like this right click snipe. You know, it's just like, why you got to be that guy?
Mm.
Like it. Good that you have that level of skill, but you're making the game a little bit less fun for everyone else. But yeah, no, it's a fun game.
Yeah.
I recommend it.
Apparently,
it's free,
Yeah.
so go for it.
Which is why I've looked at it and thought about it, because as much as I'd love to pick up players unknown battlegrounds, I just not sure I could really afford to invest into a game which is still a little bit glitchy on the original map. The newest one apparently has got some fantastic kind of improvements on it, and it runs better, but it's still got unknown issues which I don't really want to get involved with.
Sure.
Yeah.
Until it's really polished up, I'm not going to pick up unknown backgrounds.
So Blizzard is now monitoring YouTube comments for toxic Overwatch players.
Really?
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions.
They want to curb toxicity in Overwatch by patrolling social media for unscrupulous
Yeah, but-
behavior.
We're gonna curb Overwatch toxicity by monitoring outside of Overwatch. Just monitor Overwatch, dude. Like,
Yeah.
Or do what you do with Hearthstone.
Yeah.
Like
That's a little bit of an extreme jump
I-
from just we're watching.
I
you.
guess because people use voice chat, you can't really monitor
No.
toxicity on that because you can't get.
Well, I don't
logs.
actually play Overwatch, so I don't know how toxic the community is. But if
It's
it's anything
pretty
like
toxic.
what I experienced in Dota, which Dota's a great game and I loved it to pieces, but you could get some real try hard, unpleasant people if you played solo and you were doing a character and you just go do it for trolls and someone was really playing seriously. The thing is, that's why ranks there in games like Dota and League of Legends. It's for people who want to really try hard and actually want to play with decent players. But when you play a kind of public match, if someone starts slating you for just a bad play or something for just forgetting to do one thing,
But apparently,
it's nasty.
apparently, they've been able to turn it less toxic over the year. Like this year, it's more positive than before because they revised how they handle reported players.
I remember Jeff Kaplan put down in that developer video where he was like, "Hey guys, we're gonna make Overwatch less toxic." And,
Yeah.
No,
I
I
guess
guess
that was
actually, yeah.
the
Like a couple
message he
months
took.
ago.
But honestly, I never really experienced that much toxicity from it. I did avoid it by not playing the guy that I like playing in ranked.
Hanzo?
Mm,
I like Hanzo.
Yeah.
I like he's a little bit like scatter arrow is bullshit,
sure.
but when you make those like normal arrow headshots and you fucking nail them, you feel great. So I like playing Hanzo. I
like
know
him.
that he's not the best choice in ranked, and
Sure.
he will get me slated immediately when I play him because the community does not like him in ranked, which is fair enough. So I don't play him in ranked. I play Soldier or Roadhog or something else.
I like playing Reaper.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
You edgy fuck.
The thing is, like, was pretty good with him when I was playing Overwatch, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, no,
Well, if you could
I've
do
had
that.
I've had to talk about Hanzo from other housemate in this house that you haven't met on the podcast, so you probably won't join it. But
No.
okay, fair enough. Partly says, but from his
Yeah,
opinion,
right.
he says
Five people.
a
are enough.
Hanzo player is worthless because he only plays for his ult to get multiple people in the choke points. And I was like, well, what if they just enjoy playing? He went, no, they only enjoy playing because they've used the ult and they've got like multiple kills and they've won the game because they've done that. And I'm like, yeah, if you're using him strategically and you're playing for the choke points, that's what you should do.
I don't even do that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, okay, Jared, you're obviously failed. You're
I
failed in
just
this
like,
game.
I just like running and
Yeah.
headshot people do. I'm just like, yo,
But,
jump up the
um,
wall, fucking turn around and shoot him. Yeah.
Yeah, but he goes, yeah. His opinion on it as an Overwatch player who plays quite regularly, unfortunately, is that people play him more to use him as ult to just wreck face rather than actually do anything worthwhile.
I mean, yeah, you know, his ult is very good for area denial. Like, I can see, I know his use in ranked.
Mm.
It's just outside of that, well, every 3 minutes ult, pretty, like, in ranked at least, he's useless because in ranked there's always going to be a Reinhardt or an Orisa. So there's always going to be a shield preventing your shots. There's always going to be, if there is a Widow, there's going to be a very good Widow. And there's always going to be people looking for snipers.
Right.
This is what I'm thinking from the sounds of it already, just by the sound of what you've said, and I know I've looked at the character sheet of how many characters there are. Overwatch is already lacking. It needs more characters to fill in, almost things to counter some of these main hard picks for rank, to make them more diversity in the game. Because something like an Reinhardt, if you've got a Reinhardt, surely there should be something that just punches through a Reinhardt shield. So almost something that penetrates a shield.
Oh no, you can break the shield, you just need to put
Oh,
more
yeah.
damage into it.
I'm saying, yes, you could penetrate, but I mean someone that can actually put true damage through the shield anyway and ignore it. Would be an
Does
interesting
Moira
case.
do that?
I don't
There
know.
is. There's a Winston ignores his shield, but Winston will die if he tries to do that.
Exactly. I'm talking about elements of different play, so even a medium range combat character, not a long range, a medium range, so someone within range of other people to shoot at, but someone that can probably do more penetration damage to the shield and almost even deny the shield. Well, you've already got Sonya, something that does the hacking. Sombra, who hacks things, so I don't know if she can.
But she can only hack him on the other side of the shield. And
Right.
alright, the Sombra pisses me off. Sombra could be amazing, except when she comes out of stealth, she goes, "Hello there."
Yeah.
Why?
It's little
Like-
things like that.
She does
Little
Dio's
clues.
pose when she does the ult as well, which is nice.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
For
it
those
literally-
JoJo fans among us.
it eliminates her use because if you come out of stealth, everyone knows exactly where you are in seconds because they're all using headphones and everyone just swaps around.
I
straight
think
to
that's
you.
the point of her having an audio cue where she pops out.
Yeah, so she like her hack takes like a second. In that second, you go hack. Oh wait, I've taken damage, so I can't hack anymore. So like the second she says hello there, you're done. You're fucked. Like there's no point in her because you're fucked. Like her main reason for being there is eliminated purely because of a stupid fucking audio.
But by the sounds of that, then what it takes is more of a tactical player who's going to hide away in another room almost.
you like
You still hear
is
it?
huge.
Hmm.
It's ridiculous.
Anyone?
Then
No,
that's
sorry.
why I would suggest that always something like Overwatch needs more a character roster that can always some of them that can penetrate through something like the shield, so it makes Reinhardt he can still be a main pick, but he has a bit more counter. Because it sounds like Winston, who's a close combat person, so the sounds of it.
Yes.
You have Son, who's going to die from being shot to pieces because everyone's going to turn around and shoot her.
Yep.
Who else?
That's the thing. You have someone that goes through shields. You have someone that goes through 75% of the tanks.
Yeah, but that's fine because if that's 75% tank and that's one person, surely they have a ban system.
No.
No.
Okay.
The point is to
But
switch between characters all the time.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
constantly
okay.
swapping
But,
through the roster changes.
Of course, that would also be the thing then that you would still be able to have a counter for her because if you make it a medium range, I'm saying medium range for a region because if you make it long range,
Both
that's
teams
because
can have
they
the same chance.
Yeah.
So one team will have a Reinhardt, the other team will have a Reinhardt. You have one guy that goes through the Reinhardt, that guy is immediately the second pick. So, by trying to eliminate one person being picked constantly, that second guy that you just made, the guy who goes through damage through shields, will be the constantly picked champ.
Yeah.
Because he'll be going through everything.
But the thing is, if you make it if you make it so that there's already a counter present in the gameplay, so someone like a decent Black Widow, who could snipe him off pretty quickly.
But
Or-
he'll be on the other side of another Reinhardt shield.
True, but if you're having two of those and you'd have counters anyway, it would make a whole completely change. You'd either get a stalemate or you'd have players really thinking about how they counter other characters. It would encourage character diversification purely because you have an element that everyone can pick it, but well, either you give it a little bit of skill to the character, so it has to be a bit of a more skillful player, which everyone in Overwatch likes to think themselves skillful. We know that there's always going to be one person that's going to be shitter than other people, someone that's always going to be good at other people. There's always a little difference. Like for me, it's quite we can notice it in League of Legends. I can't play certain characters because I'm shit at them. You can play certain characters because you're brilliant at them.
Was he brilliant? I don't think I'm brilliant at any characters.
Xin Zhao, you fucking Xin Zhao just wrecks face. That's one of the few characters I've literally like. If Jared plays Xin Zhao, we're going to win this game probably because he's just going to walk in and just do his fucking combo and wreck face if the team shit.
Speaking of League, what about the new Swain rework?
Fuck.
Waste of time.
Already, fuck Swain anyway. Because I had a game against him yesterday. He didn't need a fucking rework. That boy's got damage up
I know.
twice. Like,
Yeah.
I was a little surprised by the rework.
He's a really skillful character because I played him twice now, and his abilities really do require knowing the character back to front. He's a skill character rather than a.
I used to main
play.
him.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, it just didn't feel like it anymore. Because I used him always in a particular time,
Right.
and it's like, no,
And that's the
otherwise no. Like if you need a
season
tank on top, and I was like, okay, I'll do a Swain.
For a
I
tank.
cannot see him tanking.
Yeah, because he's got so much health. So
Has
can,
he?
he's got the health regen in the current edition anyway.
Yeah, he
The
has,
guy I
hasn't he?
was
Yeah,
beating
actually.
up was not using him right there because I was Pantheon, right?
Yeah.
And I went in on him level 2 like you would with Pantheon. Q stun, fucking auto attack.
Well, you're more of a utility character champion when you're
Late game.
Swain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But early game, you're a poking legend.
Yeah.
You just constantly just Q.
Yeah.
Q. And Swain went, okay, I'm gonna take like half health damage. Like he's on half health, and I was like, I can cut him down then. Electrocute, Q, W, done, dead. He went no. I don't know what he pressed, but I suddenly went from full health to nothing like that.
Sounds
Oh, because
like
it might be the E, which is the root as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got stunned. I got locked. And there's a
You got
purple
E,
circle beneath me. I died.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the
like,
Q.
That's his
Q,
full combo.
And
yeah,
then,
he unleashed that on me, and I
yeah.
went down like a sack of
Yeah.
He's a really, if you got a skillful player, I've seen him wreck face in skillful games, and ARAM particularly, if he's played well in ARAM, he just destroys the team.
Well, anyway, he's not going to be like that anymore.
No, now
It's-
he's even worse. I saw somebody on PvE playing him, and he went against the entire enemy team by himself and won.
I've done that with Mordekaiser once. That was fun.
What a guy!
Yeah, that was when before like
Oh,
been
he
nerfed.
was OP at one point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was fun. Like I got fed on top lane because there were 2 top laners and they didn't know how to handle me, so I just fed. And it's like,
very nice.
and I took the whole team and I just beat them without my team backing me up. It was just me.
Well, because Mordekaiser just literally
Armor,
gets
yeah,
the
I got,
armor ability.
yeah, because
just,
you get armor, then you got spell vamp at the time. That was good enough to survive the whole team's.
Jeez,
Yeah,
that's
that was fun.
toxic.
That's insane.
That was fun.
But yeah,
Got my
no,
first
it's-
penta like that, I think.
But going back to the Overwatch thing, having thanks, Barley, our
Yeah,
Finnish host. Yeah,
sure.
who's,
Finish your thought, but we
dominating
have to move
Thailand.
on from Overwatch.
fine. I generally think one of the issues with Overwatch will be is that it's going to start lacking in diversity in characters and players.
Oh, it already is. In ranked games, you get basically the same kind of, or you're playing in ranked, which is the same in any esports. Have you boys watched LCS in League?
Yeah.
Not yet.
It's boring half the time because there is 5 kills max by 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's if the game's going really poorly for one team. Like, you reach this point where, like, in Overwatch, Reinhardt, support, damage dealer, usually either another damage dealer or a utility kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you just, here's the point, here's the teams, and they set up and they wait for an opportunity. And it's the same with League, it's the same with any other esports. You set up, you do all the combos right, you do all the mechanics right, and then you wait for the misclick.
Right.
I like how you say this, but me, before League, my original background of MOBA was Dota. Oh my god, Dota's so much different from that. Because Dota's so much more engaged, and the character diversity, yes, you have some characters that turn up a lot, but everyone has their own really specified character they really get good in, and people start counterbanning, and it really does change the whole game, and it's a very interesting game to watch when you watch Dota. I actually get really excited about it, because you watch characters, and they're really kind of, there's lots of different opportunities, and a lot of them I see already present kind of in League, but you have lots of other elements in League which change the whole meta up. So the whole of kind of Baron and things kind of really changes the game up. You get the Baron, you have the whole minion wave suddenly becoming super better, but without having super mint creeps and stuff and things. Yeah. Whereas Dota, you don't get any of that. It's basically bog standard creeps until you kill the towers, and you get 3 towers. You have to get all 3 towers at the base before you get super creeps. Yeah. So it's kind of a little bit of a change there. It really makes it, you have to be skillful in character to play than League. And I love Dota to pieces, don't get me wrong. I used to play Dota a lot, but League has got a lot better community, I found. A lot nicer community than Dota. I'm not kidding.
Dude, the world does not agree with you there at all.
The number of League games I've played, usually because I'm playing with friends anyway, because most people play League as it is.
Yeah.
But I have a lot nicer community in League than I have in Dota so far, because solo Dota can be pretty toxic. I'm not kidding. If you can't play a character well, you will get flacked to pieces, and you'll get so much crap thrown at you. It's just like, I don't want to play anymore.
Yeah, I was having a couple of games like that earlier. I was having a couple of games like that where I was taking flack. Admittedly, I wasn't. Like I said, we were playing some stupid games. There was ASOL, ADC.
Yeah, I was fucking hilarious.
Previous to the podcast, but
I actually found that funny.
Blind on League, I can't play. But I was having a couple of games where I was taking flack, where I should have been. I was playing wrong. I was playing characters I didn't know. I was playing Jax. I never played.
You were trying out characters.
I was trying out stuff because it was blind. Because I realised the second there was a freaking Aurelian Sol ADC, I was just like, right, okay, I'll just do something I don't know. Learn that way. But there were other times where I was the one just knocking on people so hard, like that Warwick that was making bad target plays, and I don't think I was being like super aggressive, super salty, but I was kind of like, dude, your target priority is bad. Please don't
just
do that.
It.
Like, target the ADC, not the tank. And I don't think it came across as like super nasty, salty kind of thing, but like obviously somebody could interpret that. I meant it as like, dude, your target priority is bad. Please, like, just target the tank, like ADC. Like that's a helpful thing.
Yeah.
I didn't go like, dude, you're so shit. Why are you bad? I was just like, this is how you should do. Please do. And I can see how you can interpret that as like super nasty anyway, because he might be feeling victimized. But like, I don't know.
Whereas Dota, it's pretty much just
back to the news.
Back to the news. Sorry.
We're gone on a complete tangent about the demonics of kind of old game system, saltiness, and the unpleasantness of games.
Nintendo Switch is getting that cardboard box thing game.
What?
Yeah, I need context on that.
Yeah, sure. So
I'm sorry, buddy, but what is Switch again?
Switch is the newest Nintendo console.
Oh, the
DIY cardboard accessory.
Yeah, so you have games that you use cardboard boxes to play with.
Like what? Like a drum?
Like there's a piano. There's a, I don't know, birdhouse.
Jack in the Box house.
Yeah.
And it integrates the technology to that.
Yeah. Apparently.
That does show how adaptive that console system is. Because I have by no means is Switch a bad console system.
That is geniusly timed, actually, considering we just, like, all the news, at least in the science world at the minute, is plastic waste.
Yeah. Actually,
Like,
you're right. Actually, that's
and
a
they're
really...
making cardboard accessories, not plastic ones.
Yeah.
Like,
All the eco
Wow,
people
wow.
are like, wow, okay, this is something we could do. Because cardboard is, as someone who does environmental stuff, cardboard's great because it disintegrates really quickly.
but yeah,
And-
you try.
Which is why you get people to buy more of them.
True,
True.
but I'd rather that than plastic waste.
And ecologically friendly
Also,
stuff. Yeah.
how does it integrate the technology into it? Like, can you just build your own cardboard pieces and put the technology into it?
I think he's got pre-built ones at the moment.
I'm
They
sure
might
you
branch out.
But
Yeah.
you can also
It's
they can
another
also they can plug the way in saying, oh, we're using recycled cardboard or something. They
Yeah.
can easily do that
yeah,
as a
no,
plug
you-
for themselves, and they
Yeah.
really could help themselves a lot by that.
in terms of current, like,
Comes up in April apparently,
for April,
28th.
in terms of current, like, trends, that's really going to hit big, I think.
That's going to hit the environmental friendly kind of gaming community, which
Yeah.
I know it's not a big thing, but it'll be a lot bigger now that you've got the idea that people can be that way
But
in terms of communities.
But it's like, but I'm just thinking, oh yeah, needed to have found a way to make you pay for cardboard boxes for
That, yeah, I can
Yeah,
see how
true.
that rate on people a little bit.
yeah.
And admittedly so, because like you said, it does disintegrate fast. It's gonna wear out. Kids are gonna break that
Yeah.
easy.
Quickly.
Immediately.
If they put a fucking £5.
Unless it depends on how they integrate it. Whether
Which
it's
now
actually
really,
the thing is
think
it
about
actually
price.
they're giving you the cardboard cutout, but you can actually have the bits that are electronically plugged into the controller for free,
Separate.
so you can almost do it yourself if you want to.
Yeah.
And even for them, a great way to do it would be to give you a guide on how to do that as well. So that means people get more creative to do things, and
Yeah.
because that would probably be the easiest way for them to make money is by people going, oh yeah, we're willing to do this, and then use it as an example to what they do to make other stuff.
Yeah.
For them, it's a great kind of little plug they can use there.
Apparently comes with the recommended price tag of £90.
For all of them.
The full kit.
Okay.
So how many pieces?
Let me see. I should say
Okay.
it comes with 2 RC cars, 1 fishing rod, 1 house, 1 motorbike, and a piano.
So for all the tech of that, £90, not bad. Really.
Yeah.
Like, especially if, like, I would think it's a smart thing. Probably not business wise, but at least like consumer friendly wise.
Yeah.
To
The other one
make it
is
integratable.
what is the tech going in it? Is it all the same for every single one? Because then that's actually great. Because you then get maybe potentially, I think it's like 5 items that was there.
Oh, sorry,
then-
I should correct that. It's actually £60 for the basic kit.
Okay.
Oh, boom.
Well, that's even friendlier. They say it's like 5 items, like 5 electronic pieces you plug in somehow. That's quite a lot to then plug in and turn
Yeah.
into lots of different things that they.
But if you want the robot kit, which is probably what everyone wants because you put a full like robot suit and you punch with it,
That's awesome.
that's £70.
For 10 quid
that
more?
by itself, the robot suit. 10
I think it is by itself because it says the robot kit. Therefore, I think it's the robot.
Yeah. Well, if that's like a gigantic cardboard suit, you can take that. To
It's not a suit, but it's this thing.
I can see why that's £70.
Yeah, I can see that. And also, they actually do the colour scheme, they do the paint, they kind of do the whole paint. They do a little bit of. It's not just the cardboard you're buying kind of the look of it as well.
Yeah,
Which half the time the aesthetics of something is what people buy more than anything.
definitely.
Extra customization kit is also £9.
Customization kit.
Yeah, an extra one
So £9 for that.
for an add-on. Yeah.
That doesn't sound terrible at all. Actually, it sounds like they've really reasonably priced it with the fact they're using cardboard. That is the main element.
£10 for customization. £5.
Well, the thing is, buying a big box of cardboard is about £10 anyway.
Yeah.
It's about. They're not actually overpricing. They're making it at a very reasonable rate.
Yeah, moving boxes are like £20 for 5,
Exactly.
and that's just cardboard with some handles on.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's,
people will buy it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
people
It's
will buy it.
Nintendo. People will buy
Yeah.
it.
Nintendo needs to somehow break back into the market against Xbox and Sony,
Yeah.
and they've done well in this new.
Yeah, I don't think Xbox is a contender in this day and age. I gotta be honest.
You really sure about that?
I have both systems. Due to the fact that I've had my Xbox One for ages, I got a job.
Then you thought, yes, the superior system, please.
The PS is a superior system for games. I will argue that the Xbox is not wrong when they call it an entertainment console or entertainment system.
Yeah, but do you want
Because-
all the stuff in there? But anyway,
That's what I use for Netflix and movies and stuff. And
Sure.
then I use the PS for games.
But there's a thing
And then
called the
by-
DVD player, which will probably done the
The
same.
thing is that I think
was
one
easy
of
to
the
do.
Alright.
one of the nice things with the article I saw a few weeks ago when by accident, this is back to Fortnite, we were talking about it earlier, how by accident somehow platforms of both Xbox and PlayStation actually got put onto the same server.
Yeah, like it's easy to do. It's
And
just that both.
the realization is so easy. I'm just waiting for the companies to make.
No, Sony
Like
will
Sony's
never.
the issue here.
No, Sony will never accept it.
I don't see why they wouldn't.
It's just their way of keeping the exclusivity still around.
But it's not needed.
Yeah, I know, but they're still going to do
They're
it.
being
The
outcompeted
Japanese.
already by computers.
Don't know if that's going to be an adequate answer for it, but yeah, they're
More
just.
flexible computer systems already beating Sony.
Well, hey, Dark Souls Remastered won't get cross-platform play either.
Doesn't or does?
It will not. It's on the Switch, so hey, I can play Dark Souls even though I laugh here.
I can see Switches getting broke.
Oh yeah, I want to see
I rolled! Smash! Like, that's not the console you want it on. Like,
I want to see
Yeah.
that.
Battlefleet Gothic 2.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a
That
good
was
shout.
announced. Yeah.
That looks interesting. I have not played the original one, but I
have.
do know how it what it's like and have a look.
I
at
played it. It's very complex in a good way.
Don't know if it's a complex, but you just have to know how all the ships work.
Strategic then.
Yeah, sure. No, so I'll agree.
But it also is very, 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 very pretty. It's
Sure.
excessively.
Well, hey, it's on Unreal Engine. It has to look pretty.
Yeah,
Because all the
true.
others.
But
Yeah.
the trailer and stuff for 2 made it was even prettier. Like, it was a gorgeous looking.
And I do like when I was reading into it, it had all the factions they'd not included. They're not just gone and rehashed the factions, they've gone and redone loads more to it as well.
Yeah.
And
I
they
think they've
fixed
got all
the
the
bugs.
factions now with the update. I mean, the second one.
Pardon?
I think they'll have all of them.
They have all
fac-
the old factions
They
already there.
had Tau, they already had Necrons, they had Chaos. They had
Necrons weren't around yet.
Were they not?
No, it's in second one.
No, the ones
Ah.
they had were Space Marines, Imperial
Navy,
Navy, Orcs, Tau,
Eldar,
Definitely
Eldar.
Chaos.
Corsair. Well, yeah, Chaos.
Eldar Corsair, and Chaos.
Yeah.
They had about 6 factions. This one has got the
12.
Tyranids involved
Yeah.
now.
Ooh.
This has got the Necrons involved. The thing is, some of the things that I've noticed is one of our housemates is very excited about it is the fact that Tyranids, he's a massive Tyranid player, and he made the good comment of it's going to start including something like a boarding combat element because Tyranids don't do shooting, they do combat.
What they do in Battlefield Gothic is just, I mean, Armada. What they do is boarding actions are just an attack.
Yeah, but in this new game system, it could include things like interesting, like kind of almost grapples or something. Because you think about Tyranids all tentacly and stuff, grappling ships,
Slow
trying to
ships
swallow
down.
them.
Yeah, that might actually happen. I can.
It kind of gives this nice kind of element of the gameplay will change as you come against different factions.
So I have no
different
idea how they
fleets.
play usually in the board game. On
Well, in the
tabletop.
old Epic, they didn't exist.
Tabletop.
Tabletop, they didn't exist.
Tabletop Armada game.
No,
They
Gothic.
didn't.
no, I mean Battle Gothic. They had Tyranids in there.
Don't think they did.
They
I thought-
did.
Did they?
I remember. Yeah, the ships were there.
I don't remember that.
Blech,
It must have been so.
It's probably just like before they cancelled the thing.
Yeah, because Tyranids were only came out. When did they come out? They came out certainly in my lifetime when I started Warhammer.
2002?
2002-ish. Yeah, probably the right time. Good shout for that.
It's probably a little bit earlier than that
Yeah.
because I think that was the third edition. That was when I got into Tyranids as well. So that was when before the update came in.
90s then.
And Tau came in fourth.
Well, it had to be after Alien because that's where they got their
Yeah.
inspiration for it.
Yeah,
so.
Well, possibly.
Pretty much, yeah. But Tau
Yeah,
came
they-
in fourth
they did.
edition. That
Have
was
you
quite
have you
funny.
seen the old Hype Tyrant?
It's
pretty much
it's
the Alien,
just-
yeah.
It's even more like.
Yeah.
Let's see what 1d4 chances spot Tyranids. They're extremely deadly at close range. All ships besides the Hive ship are expendable in extreme, reasonably durable, and ridiculously deadly at boarding. But oh man, are you all fucked if your Hive ship bites to dust. Also, everyone who plays them just uses nid bits to scratch build their fleet. Unfortunately, the Hive Mind rules mean the Tyranid player can only control 2 ships or 1 ship per every turn. The other ships are forced to use an instinctive behavior algorithm that acts like a basic programming for the ship. Although in likelihood this is what you need to go to do anyway. This effectively means that a Tyranid player doesn't actually get to make decisions for their fleet most of the time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see how they manage that in the new Battlefield
Just
Gothic.
have a gigantic ship and then turns it
Maybe it might be that, or it might be you have multiple ships, but you need certain ships as kind of control points.
Probably do it synapse wise, the same way they do
Yeah.
it in the 40k table.
It might be like you have circles around them. This is the area of control.
Yeah.
If you're under that, it could almost be an interesting mechanic as well, because if you're playing, you won't see the circles, but you're understanding how close you can be before you're in that circle, where the synaptic effect comes into place. Could mean you could become. It could be an interesting kind of tactic, because you'd be trying to avoid being in it whilst also having them come towards you, because they're not going to let you sit still.
Mm.
Yeah.
Be an interesting gameplay for that, because you'd want to play long range and bombard those synaptic ones, but maybe they've got stealth ones as well. Something.
I don't know. Shall we talk about Warhammer news?
Yeah, is there any?
Well, there was just that. I can't remember what they're called, but Morathi's.
Oh yeah, the Dark Elves.
the Dark
new
Elves,
release,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Ales. That looks interesting.
The models look cool.
The
Yeah.
models look fantastic. I actually
yeah.
saw the video and it did exactly what it was meant to do, and made me really think about picking up an army of that. And the only thing is, I don't play Sigmar because I like the old traditional fantasy.
Same.
But this almost caught my eye. Almost made me think, should I have a look? I don't know yet. I haven't made a decision on it. I don't have any real.
Well, the only
funds to
thing what I
spend on
will
it.
do is get Morathi and use her in the 8th edition.
Well, you can do that, but yeah.
Or
It
use
made
the
me consider again whether I should give Sigma a go with this new kind of faction, or whether maybe with one of the new ones coming out in the next couple of years. Because I know when we were certainly talking to them at the New Year kind of Open Games Day thing, where they were just kind of showing off the new stuff coming out this year,
Yeah.
I definitely got the feeling that they were going to be bringing out more new things for Sigma.
Sure.
A lot more darker kind of theme stuff, which definitely is what I'm more appealing than the happy-go-lucky Space Marines, Sigmarines, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Kind of
So-
feel.
They are doing, from what the models I'm looking at here, Slanesh is obviously an issue
Yeah.
in Sigma, in 40k, because they're trying to appeal to kids, and Slanesh is not something that does just generally you want to sell to kids.
Well, they
Yeah.
should
It's
put
a
about
very-
that into Edition 3.
It's a very difficult concept to sell to kids. So I've always said they should go the snake route. And considering Marathi is pretty influenced by
They're
Slanesh,
doing that, aren't they? Actually,
they are going the snake route, and I think it's a good.
I
look
think they're
for it.
going for more Kane because it's more like Daughters of Kane stuff than.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
it is Daughters of Kane.
just
Yeah.
but they have the
But there are the Naga, which is half snaky,
Sure.
and
But they already had Medusa.
Medusa,
but there's also a big kit that is looking very scaly.
which
from
is
what we can see of it.
looks like Morathai is going to be a scaly, snaky woman.
No, she's not.
Marathi is actually a giant kind of like.
Have they got a picture of it already?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a,
It was in the
just want to
bloody
see it.
trailer.
She kind of looks like.
Well, are you sure that's Morathi?
That is Morathi.
I know that, but what is the big snaky thing you see at the end? I thought that might
She's
be.
kind of like Medusa mixed with a demon prince.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing that
But this is.
there's new units.
So, it's
Yeah.
it's definitely a big thing.
Yeah.
Every Sigma.
I'm thinking it's
a big thing.
probably as big as Alariel,
Yeah.
like on her own.
The thing is, I saw that and I thought, is that a massive kind of poke toward the fact they've actually turned Morathi into a massive snaky demon?
No.
No, that's.
And I love how you're saying no. We don't know because they haven't really declared. Those units.
Yes, we do. We've seen the model.
Is that what have they stated that's Morathi?
That's Morathi. Why would they have? They have her talking in it, and then they show her model at the end.
Yeah, but they have lots of these models with wings.
Have you seen anyone else that it could be?
No, but it could potentially be a new thing entirely.
I
No.
think it might be the aspect of like Slanesh or something. Because I.
Are you sure? Because that looks exactly like Morathi to me from the Total War games.
What? No, the big
But-
thing. The big unknown.
What?
The big unknown model. The one that's just like scales.
Oh, sorry. Then I don't know what that is. That's probably something bigger, nastier.
It's a big model.
It's probably just a monster version of whatever all the other races have.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but it's not Morathi.
I
no,
love
it's not.
how
It's
that's
got the big wings and just
Yeah,
the
exactly.
gold trim.
Yeah.
They love a bit of gold trim.
Yeah, of course they do.
Yeah.
Anyway, Portugal's got more doors.
Portugal got more doors.
Yeah.
Okay, for it. I know you don't want to talk about it. I know you're avoiding the big 40k because you don't like it.
What news do we have from 40k then?
We have a Thousand Suns Codex coming.
Oh yeah, that thing.
That is a thing, and I am looking forward to what they do with it because they're pretty okay at the minute, and I don't know where they're going to go with them. Do they up their smite powers? Like, do they up their psychic stuff so they're just completely blowing bits off the board? Because I played against them. I chucked Gulliman at a unit of, I think, Terminators.
Yeah.
And he died in the psychic phase because of smite. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
And then he died in the shooting phase because he gets to come back, but it says right at the end of the phase. So
Yeah.
he came back, he got up and went, oh crap, and took a couple of bolt guns to the face then, and died again.
Lovely.
So they can eliminate big things, but they're not, well, we all know Guard are the big boys.
Sure.
So they can't go up against Guard because Guard will just blow you off the table.
Sure. Because they always do.
Are they going to buff Magnus? Are they not? Are they going to leave him where he is? Are they
I don't know. That'd be
Oh yeah, we're
interesting
getting new
to see.
codexes as well for like the Tau, the Dark Eldar, and Necrons.
Yep.
They're all coming out this
We're
year.
also getting new models.
Yeah,
Stuff like
I
that.
thought that new
Cryptic
Necron was
models.
pretty nice.
The new armagers for the
Oh,
obviously
yeah.
Mechanicus, they look beautiful. I'm
Yeah.
so going to pick some of them up, and even though I haven't played a goddamn game with Mechanicum yet in this edition, I'm still going to pick them up because they look great.
Sure.
Because I'm sold by plastic crap.
Sold to
Aren't
plastic
we
crap.
all?
Yes, we
Yes.
are.
Yeah.
But they look fantastic.
Sure.
I'd like the mini knights. I love it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Any other news you want to talk about?
Talk about the release of the Custodes.
Yeah. We'll leave that to Justin.
Leave that to Justin
Yeah,
when he
we'll
gets
have
back.
to get him to get the codex and give us a rundown because I haven't actually looked. I know they came out. The models look great.
Yeah.
We saw them.
You saw
on
the
other
models,
day.
they do
You
look
probably
fantastic.
you could just take the bikes and use them in 30k.
The only thing I'm seeing about them is that they're so elite heavy and so model, their numbers are so low in model count, is that against the bigger armies like, unfortunately, Guard, who are just so it's not their fault. They are slightly overpowered and bent at the moment, but they're so low model count, they're not going to be as survivable as a lot of other factions. And the issue we came to a realization the other day with 40k is that tanks are a little too strong. It's not their fault, but things like possibly Arcs of Fire need to be reintroduced because it would change how you play with a vehicle again in the game, because being able to just use an artillery tank like a Basilisk as just do Overwatch with it
Just
is a
block
bit
the Overwatch. It's stupid.
I don't
Especially on an
know.
artillery thing. There's like
I don't
specify
know.
artillery
Oh,
and
yeah.
then say they can't do it.
Oh yeah, things like that again, or even put in a minimum range for Overwatch. So say you have to be within 12 inches to be under.
Purely on vehicles. That's all you got to do.
On
Is just
vehicles,
make it
good.
vehicle
Vehicles.
only.
12 inches with a vehicle being charged, and the thing is, it's not
Like
like
that's in that was an AFED where if you were within your basic movement that you don't get Overwatch.
yeah, something like that. That's actually what they should do. Go back to saying if you're within the movement distance of this person, vehicle, whatever, you are not able to do Overwatch.
Are you saying that they should bring out the 8th edition of Fantasy?
Thing is, there are a couple of vehicles where
I like the sandbag.
there are a couple of vehicles where it makes sense to have Overwatch, like a repulsor tank.
Sure.
Someone's
Yes.
charging it. I have 30 frag launchers on mine because
Yeah.
I was stupid.
Makes
But
sense.
it makes sense that they just go, oh shit, someone's charging us. Fire the frag launchers.
By the way, if you want
Landlady
to,
Redeemer, two massive flamers. You're not exactly not just going to
so
fire
that
flamers.
should be
for
able
it.
to Overwatch, but you should it's difficult to write a blanket rule for it.
Yeah,
But
I do
just
agree.
label
Though.
a thing as an artillery vehicle.
Yeah,
Or an assault vehicle.
yeah.
And then suddenly you can just go, hey, assault vehicles can Overwatch, artillery can't.
Yeah, that would be a great distinction. Almost the kind of thing is heavy. Some of the heavy makes sense for Overwatch. So a heavy bolter makes sense. Autocannons make sense because it's for chucking out tons of firepower.
Which is what they were there on the vehicles
That's
to do.
what
They
they
were
do.
point defense.
Exactly, they're point defense, and things like I'm talking about Land Raiders because that's generally what the Space Marines have. We have lots of bolter weapons. Bolters fire shit tons of shots. That's what they're meant to be doing. The Overwatch makes sense for them. But if I took a Medusa or Basilisk, I shouldn't be able to just whiz round, turn on the point, fire backwards, and do Overwatch at somebody, which you can do in this edition, and that is rather stupid. I feel like Arcs of Fire would improve it, and returning kind of minimum range or what can and can't shoot Overwatch would be the only two improvements to this game system that I think could actually make the game really work fantastically, because they're the only two things bringing it down at the moment, in my opinion.
Also, mortars should not be able to fire Overwatch. Just gonna put that out there. Mortars don't make sense for firing Overwatch. Like, they're charging us. Fire upwards, boys. Wait 5 seconds.
I would say within a minimum distance for those ones. So you can drop a lot of mortars pretty quickly, but it does make sense if you're within 6 inches and you can charging them, that within those 6 inches they can fire off an shot that accurately get you.
Just look, put it upwards and stand back. Like, that's all they can do.
Yeah, pretty much what they do. Exactly.
And get caught in
Hence why I
crossfire.
make
Yeah, and then they just blow themselves up because of wind. Like,
yeah. And you used to be able to counter that with something like scattering, because you could Overwatch with. I used to be able to Overwatch with scatter, and it could come back on you and hit you.
Or give them las pistols.
Yeah.
Like, hey, they get these guns for Overwatch.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't be difficult.
Yeah, actually, you could even plug it as like they're all issued with a las gun or something. These were used as the last ditch defense.
Yeah.
Little line.
Cannot be used unless in
Yes,
Overwatch. It's very simple to write that rule.
It's simple, and it works. The Games Workshop system that you can just put it out in the next chapter, approved of saying mortars, Imperial Guards, Overwatch only allowed with las guns. Doesn't make it doesn't hurt, doesn't do anything. Might piss off a lot of Guards players, but who fuck cares? Because if you think about it, when suddenly the Guard meta came out, how many people bought Guard just because they became superpowered?
Yep. Well,
They bought out the
typical,
whole
isn't it?
stock. There was nothing left. As in, I was looking at I was thinking of a Guard army not because I wanted to be competitive, but because I wanted to do a cool kind of conversion army. But there was nothing available at the time, and I ended up not buying one, and then no longer have the money that I could do to buy one.
I would like to point out that if you order more than £50 from Forge World, you could possibly win an Astraeus super heavy tank.
Why the fuck would you want one?
I don't know.
It's a super tank.
You order £50 of Age of Sigmar stuff. Cool. I got a tank. What do I do with it?
To be fair, I'm kind of waiting if I get the Porphyra on, but anyway.
Honestly, it's a super heavy tank, which it looks better than the Repulsor. No offense, I think the Repulsor looks just stupid. A little bit stupid.
It floats. It's awesome.
Oh, speaking of floats,
It can
it
look a
came
lot
out on
better.
DVD this week.
Did it?
Yeah.
I'm getting that.
What's that?
We saw it in Tesco.
It came out.
Oh yeah.
That was a great film.
Yeah, no, I'm never gonna watch that. Thank you. I don't like.
Oh,
horror
we
movies.
watched it.
You'll
It was
float
fun.
too.
I don't want to watch horror movies. Thank you.
It's not a horror film. It's just a good film.
It's a Stephen
Yeah.
fucking King. Every single one of his stuff is fucking horror, apart from maybe the Dark Tower series.
I don't know.
Mist isn't horror either.
Nah.
Yeah.
Also, there's... What was that? I
Well,
can't
for
remember
someone
what
with
the
an
film.
overactive imagination, it doesn't work.
Never understood that thing.
No.
You either have an imagination or you don't.
When I say I have an overactive imagination, you can say something and go that far. I'll go that far and then further. My imagination works a little too much over time, which is just annoying sometimes. And because I overthink things because of my slight autism, makes it worse. That's where I'm plugging. I'm not saying it's a... Not everyone has one. I'm not saying it's
You got
something
deep there,
bad.
Bruce. You got deep. I like it.
Yeah. It means I can really, really fuck myself up in mind.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I just do that in life choices.
I don't. I tend to get worried
No.
myself too much and stop before I get there.
Anyway.
Like fucking hell, Narnia once did that to me. Narnia, nicest children book in the world. I had a nightmare because the fucking gold scene where you touch the water and you turn into gold. Fucking drove.
That's fucking
me.
terrifying.
Yeah,
it's
that
my
literally
mistake.
drove me so nuts. I couldn't sleep for a few nights. My mum had to just kind of make sure I was okay for 2-3 nights before I finally got to sleep, and I refused to read the book until maybe 6-7 years later when I was older and was more aware that the possibilities of turning people into gold is really unlikely because alchemy doesn't really exist. So I don't want to.
He's ruined my
Illusion. Alchemy doesn't really exist.
Yeah.
Well, never to let into gold. No. So if you took water from that, like in a flask,
You would turn into gold.
you would turn into gold.
Yes.
But like, say you didn't dunk, like you kind of like.
You didn't even have to do anything. Anything you touched into it would turn to gold as well.
Okay, but and then it went into you.
Yes.
So breaking news.
It was terrifying.
The Mutalith Vortex piece is an addition to the Thousand Suns Codex.
Mutilix. What?
It's from the fantasy range.
The big Hydra thing
Yeah, the thing with all the tentacles things.
is now 40k.
Yes.
How?
Thousand Suns, apparently.
Well, I know Zangors have turned into Thousand Suns.
No, that's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
really good.
That's what I mean. I know Zangors have put Thousand Suns. I'm not
Cheap troops.
surprised.
Fires up save. Yes, please.
I'm
So,
kind of not surprised because it's a demonic thing, isn't it?
It's a Zinch demonic thing.
So it really fits their meta.
So apparently it makes nearby Zinch units better in combat, deals mortal wounds to nearby enemy units, sometimes both. Very hard to kill.
Oh, you could do a full.
Oh, and go
Zangor
great
fucking
alongside
Winter
Zangor
Army.
apparently.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
But I mean, now that like they're all on circle bases, you can just do anything.
You can go full Zinch monster list.
Yeah.
What's his face? Magnus.
Magnus.
Magnus is your leader.
Change
Couple of
your ways.
Mutalids. Huge amounts of Zangors.
And then pink horrors
And then pink auras and shit. Beautiful, beautiful fucking list.
Of course, he didn't do anything wrong, but let's get on.
He didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Magnus did everything wrong.
I'm fully agreeing with Magnus did nothing wrong.
As you can see, we have 2 heretics in the room, and
Well, we're actually both Protestant some players, aren't we?
well, I'm not even sure with you, Chad. You play Ultramarines apparently as well.
I am very much like the lion.
Play Dark Angels.
No.
They're easy, black.
No, because I'm very much like the lion. I don't like my own legion.
Yeah. Right.
He hates his own legion.
Sure.
Yeah, I know this. And he was apparently quoted as being evil, but no one knows if that's actually a real, true, solid statement to hold on to.
I don't know.
Apparently, what running time are we on?
Very long.
Yeah, I was going to look. I just
It's
looked at the
2
clock.
hours and 17 minutes at the moment.
Yeah. I'm
2 hours and
thinking-
70. Who is listening to this, Pally?
I would
sorry
be if I
viewers
wasn't
for this
listening.
long episode. As you can see,
No,
we're
it's
starting to
the
overrun.
normal running time, I would think.
This
This is what Paoli likes to think is a normal running time. And I think we should come to a point where we should kind of finish up.
Possibly, but after emails.
After emails. Okay, do we get any
Jesus
emails?
Christ.
If you want to write to us, once again, their email address
Oh.
is bbacpodcast@gmail.com.
That'll be in the comments below, ready to go, so you can just copy and paste
We're
it.
back podcast.
So anyway, we didn't get any emails.
We didn't get any emails.
No.
Oh, disappointing.
I'm half surprised since you forgot to do most of the tags on it.
Funnily enough, I'm betting why we didn't get any emails.
It was on SoundCloud.
It's
Anyway.
because you kept plugging the wrong email address.
Anyway.
Uh,
Anyway, let's...
no, I checked that email address and didn't have anything in it.
As you can see, my colleagues are now descending into hysterics.
Did we get anything like verbally from people?
We got a couple of
We've got a couple of good
constructive
plugs from
comments.
people, so liked it.
We had one of my friends request even, or demand, no Tory,
Sure.
a Warhammer only episode, which we covered a lot more. In
Well,
this
we
Whoa.
we would generally cover more Warhammer.
Chloe asked for a Warhammer episode.
She likes skinky wings.
Does she?
Yeah, but we
It's
have
the name
never.
for Lizardmen.
But is there anything to talk about Age of Sigmar? No? Yes? Okay, moving on.
But hey, we plugged a little bit of Sigma on the new Dark Elves. Come on,
Yeah,
we
sure.
did do a little bit.
Yeah, but I.
Yeah, see, I got you to cover it.
Uh,
you don't even like
no,
it,
I was
got
gonna
you
I was gonna cover them anyway because they were gonna audition to my 8th edition army.
Yeah. Damn it, Pally. Anyway.
so she wanted more Warhammer, which we done.
Which we have done,
Yeah,
yeah.
we've
That was
done
part of
that
the
more.
She's
plan.
gonna
innit?
make it this long, but she.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, anything else?
People wanted that quote at the thing at the start.
Not gonna
Not
happen.
much, otherwise, no, we
But
are
we're
taking
gonna
ideas from other podcasts onto our podcast.
Yeah.
stealing from other people, basically.
Yeah.
So.
Plagiarism.
we do have the thematic
That's why kids
introductions.
stealing is good.
We have thematic introductions for everyone every week, which we did this week.
Good
Yeah.
hunting,
Anyway, instead of talking about things we were suggested for us to improve on, I think we've come to a point where we have covered most of our topics for this week.
Have we?
Pauli, I think our viewers, our listeners are kind of getting a little bit bored of our
Well,
monotone
what they
voices.
can do is stop and start again when they want to pick it up. Then they have a week to listen to it.
You're too late now, Pauli. It's right at the end of the episode. We need to cut.
No, don't just.
Don't do that.